Hello everybody, welcome to the MD Cast episode 43. Today, we have a special episode because you know what we're doing? You know all those tier lists that have been going around everywhere? Alright, we're making one of Doujin tags!
You want to put that on the podcast?
Doujin tags!
Oh,
Holy fuck. Yeah, we're putting that on the podcast. Alright, so let's lay some ground rules. Alright, you got your standard like S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier. How are we grading them?
Should we have a visual for, like, not for the podcast, obviously, but for our own purposes here to keep track of them?
I have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
So,
We go from God tier, which will be
S-tier.
S,
yes.
to E tier, which will be...
No,
No,
F
F tier,
Yeah,
F tier, and then NTR tier.
you silly slut.
You didn't let me fucking finish. I was going to say... What was it? Did I say E tier?
Yeah.
E tier, NTR.
No, F tier and then NTR tier.
Regardless, how are we grading them? Are we grading them simply from like the tag, like if we would like to be part of it ourselves, or just simply looking at it as well? Because I left this part up for debate.
I think just base is just what we like.
Just overall.
Overall.
Okay.
Yeah,
Overall,
I think there are some that are like, you know, real nice and fine, but it's like I don't want to be in that. Well, there are
Yes.
others that are nice and fine, but you
Like-
do want to be in it.
something that is like high class simply because the art of it looks good, but you would not participate in it
But
yourself.
listen,
Yeah.
how should we... Are we going to vote on each one?
We will leave it up for debate. It will not be moved on to until everybody is unanimous.
Okay.
So if you really like this thing, you need to state your claim.
Yeah,
is
you
a-
need it.
this
This
is
is
a time-
an educated debate.
If you like this thing, you need to fight for it, tooth and nail.
If you like it when they come on the titties, then you gotta fight for that
Okay,
right to come
so-
on
Is
the
Tit
titties.
Jobs on there?
Maybe we'll
We're
find
not-
out.
We'll find out.
All
Okay.
right, gamers.
What's the
let's
first one?
let's
So
get her
the first
going.
one is Samata.
What's
Sam-
that?
Kyle, you
Samata.
put this one on.
All right, it's thigh fucking.
Thigh fucking.
You know what thigh fucking is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
like a
good.
bit of thigh fucking.
All right.
I'd say B.
I personally, I think it's pretty A tier at least, because I particularly like it, and like, you know, this isn't my bag, but the thing is, like, it's also something that anyone can get into, because like you can do that shit fucking gay if you want.
Yeah, I understand that it's very, but it's a foreplay kind of thing. It's not the whole product, you know? It's something you do leading up to the climax, which is either you put in butt or put in pussy.
But it can also be used in so many versatile situations, you know, and you can play it off different. Like it can be like it can be like a sub dynamic, a dom dynamic. It can be used for all sorts of things, and it's great.
We're drinking bison grass, by the way.
Yeah,
It's still... It's still like a four... Like, I can't see it beginning and ending with a thigh job.
It's a good jack of all trades
I'm-
foreplay.
Jack
How's
of
that?
all-
I'm
what
going to
trades?
put it this way. I feel it's a good B tier. It's a strong B tier.
I would agree. as well.
Because, like, at the same time, yes, it is something that everybody can get into, except for amputees, which is on the list.
so long
Are you
as,
sure
so
about
long as
that?
they've got the basic nubs, they can make it work.
This is true, but
You're telling me you can't fuck the
Listen.
nubs?
I'm not saying...
We'll save that
I'm
discussion
not
for
saying
another
it's
time.
bad. I'm not saying it's, like, it's god-awful. I'm just saying it's a good B tier.
B is a very good tier for that one.
Because it's not too specific. Anybody can do it. It's just I feel like having like a designated hole would be a lot better, you know?
I think it's a B tier because I would say this, like, for as an example for probably like foreplay type of stuff. I'd say S tier would probably be just blowjobs. I don't know. Like, I feel like that'd probably be the
Vanilla stuff.
best. No, not vanilla. Well, I guess, yeah, vanilla sex stuff, but...
But this isn't based off foreplay things. This is based off tags.
In general,
As a
so,
tag,
just
it
the
is
content
B tier.
you've seen.
So do we have 3 for B tier? Kyle, would you like to argue against us?
3 against 1, motherfucker.
No, listen. This is
man.
this is a time for debate. Let him stake his claim.
But we're also talking like we're talking Doujin tags, you know, and like I get the whole foreplay thing, but like it can also be used as the main thing because with a lot with various artistic bits and bobs, it can be the highlight if you're going for. Sometimes if you're going for specific other fetishes, it goes really well into it, and I think it can have fun positions to it that are also artistically pleasing to look at.
But listen. Here's my side of things. Here's why I think like I agree with them is a strong B, maybe low A, if anything. Is
B plus.
when you like say you're looking at your Doujins and you see the what is actually called whatever thigh fucking.
Yeah.
It is usually incorporated with something else. It's never the main point. Usually,
Tyler does raise a
like,
good point. I feel it's never the one main thing.
Like, see,
that's
like,
on the,
when we like read Doujins, like you have like your
You say we as if we're like we're gathering in a
collectively
circle.
watching a dope.
listen.
Reading a dope.
I mean, we
read
hold
it.
on. We don't.
Hold up! I'm not done reading. Go back to page 12.
Guys, hold on. We need to scroll back.
Well, listen.
Wait, I'm about to climax. Stop!
Guys, I'm finna bust. Don't turn the page yet. Don't. Please! No!
You fucking
Bro,
turn
you
the
got-
page, it's just the guy's face on the next panel. You just
Oh,
bust to
those are
that.
the worst.
But anyways,
You
back
got
to-
me. You got me edging over here, man.
Quick, find the cum shot!
Find the climax.
Hold on. Let continue, bro.
Back to the
Continue.
point. Back to the point.
Yes.
You usually see thigh fucking as the build up to something. Like say, the first
Yeah, the
interaction.
build up to coming.
The first interaction will be something like vanilla, like thigh fucking or something random, a hand job or something. Then you see the other half of the
You
book.
see the full penetration.
Then the other half of the book is them taking it to the next step, and they're straight fucking. So thigh fucking is always like the precursor to that.
That's a fair point. And I would argue it's better for femdom dynamics, but I'm not like
It's a great
I'm not as
build-up
hard
thing.
into that stuff, so for now I will concede to the B tier.
What's femdom?
Okay.
Femdom?
Female domination.
Oh, okay.
So
Honestly,
So
I thought
we're-
that was like some female boy shit. Like,
we are all
female-
currently
Femboy shit.
we are all currently on the cusp of putting Samuda in the
Sumada.
Sumada is
in
B tier.
B tier. Okay. So that brings us to
Next one.
our next one, which is own a hole.
What's that?
It's essentially just a fleshlight.
Yes. Now that one always kind of confused me too. Is it like using one, or is it just one in the tag?
Typically, because the way tags work, it can mean there's just one present at some point.
Yeah. That's what I figured.
Usually, since it either means a lone person using it or someone using it on someone else.
You want me to be honest?
What?
That shit's in D tier.
D tier, huh?
D tier.
I mean, there's I've seen some Doujins that have like Ona holes, but they're actually people because they're not human. They're actually like robots or something or whatever.
but we're not gonna count
That's
that.
getting into like some extra tag
That's
shit.
getting
Okay.
into like robot.
Okay.
But this is just them
Just
straight
straight-
using
Just a
the
fucking tube.
that yeah.
Silicone tube.
They're just using a sex toy at this point, a fleshlight.
I
Okay.
would say like
I say D tier.
I'd say
'cause
C.
Personally, I don't like it.
I would go with Q when I say C because like
I think C
it's
is
not
fair.
appalling. It's not like something that's like
I-
awful
But-
to look at.
The way I see it, and this is very similar to what I said about the last one. It's really good if you use it for certain dynamics of like domination or something.
But here's the problem. Here's why I say it's D tier.
Dear.
Because every single time, like, say you do see, like, let's go with this situation. You're reading your Doujin, and the girl has the toy to the guy, and it's usually that toy that has like both holes on each end, whatever.
Yeah.
and she has the smuggest look on her fucking face. I want to punch that bitch out.
Wait, that doesn't turn you on?
No, I hate it. I
Okay.
absolutely fucking despise it.
All right, Tyler, we have to reconsider your role on the podcast.
We've reached a roadblock on round 2.
I think Tyler got this reference. I think Tyler's very vehemently opposed to this because he saw that video of the African woman with a pomegranate or a grapefruit.
No, it was a
grapefruit.
It was a microwave
this is how you grapefruit your
and
man.
she makes these. I think he's appalled due to that reason.
I fucking hate that.
I think it's a C
It's
tier.
funny as fuck, but I hate it.
I think
But,
it's
like-
C tier because it's just a good plot point sometimes in a
I don't
dungeon.
like it.
It's the same thing. I feel like it's almost the same thing as like Samada, but like not on
I
the same
feel-
level.
I feel it's like it follows a lot of the same points I would make about Sumada. It's just way less versatile,
Yeah,
and it's got way less to it, so it's a little more limited. So I think it
Because
would be
I-
a lower
Listen,
tier.
whoa.
I feel like it's a good C tier because it's fairly basic when it comes to like.
I'll
femdom
give it
and
C
stuff.
tier,
Yeah.
but it depends on the situation.
Yes, situationally based. Like it's
Hello based.
It is very It has
So-
to be a certain pairing. It can't just be like any random thing.
so. Let me ask you this then: what would be the good and what would be the bad? Like what would separate?
What
C
is the
from
divider?
what would separate the C from the E? Then?
I don't think you want to know.
Okay, no, I do want to know. Now that you
We're
say that,
already talking about it.
yeah, now that you say that, I really want to know.
Listen,
Okay,
Listening.
we're listening.
listen, brothers.
We're listening.
Well, make it a C. Is it being listened?
Okay.
Is a step sis, step bro situation.
Oh.
That would make it a C. But any other situation other than that one, still a D.
So like
I can
only-
see where you're getting at. I can see what you're
Because
getting at.
I like some of the peels in the step sis, step bro. I'll be honest.
Okay.
I like some of that stuff sometimes when it's
I like
executed
Alabama.
perfectly.
I like the
Not
I like
quite
the
Alabama,
the
it's
domestic
step.
angle
Like
of it.
the difference
That's
between
what I'm talking
Alabama and
A
not
good
Alabama
example
is they're
of
related.
that kind of situation is Overflow.
Let's be honest. There's not many step in Doujins. They're usually
They're step.
They're
Yeah,
usually
this
full
is
blown
true.
incest.
Quote,
Let's be
quote,
honest
unquote
here.
step. But okay,
Romantic.
so at this point, are we all on a decent C for Onaho?
I'm gonna say low tier C.
Low tier C.
Low tier
Okay.
I'll give you your C.
Okay.
Okay. Just let me write it down, and now we will go to our next one. Sock job. Kyle, you put this one on. I actually don't really have a good idea of what this one is.
think
other than
I-
what the
Is it
basics of it is.
self-explanatory?
Yeah,
I feel like
pretty
it's
much is.
self-explanatory, but I don't know if there's
To
more
my
to it.
understanding,
I've
to
not
my
seen any
understanding,
sock
because
job.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't see a lot of things with sock job in it. My understanding is it's essentially, it's basically using a cum sock, but someone else is doing it for you. You know, someone else is jerking you off with a
So
sock.
you're just.
So what's no different from the second one then?
I
Just
haven't,
with a sock.
All right, listen.
I
this
haven't
is-
seen any of
Kinda
these.
maybe. I guess.
This is-
depending
I
on
think
how
we
you
should just
of
put it in C.
No, not C.
no.
I feel like it deserves an E. It's lower
Yeah,
than
it's
Onaho.
low
Yeah,
tier.
E.
You think you
Well,
could-
not okay. Here's,
Because like,
Oh,
hold on,
no,
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 it's-
no, no, listen,
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 I
listen,
agree with
Tyler,
you.
everybody
Listen.
listen. I'm gonna put it this way. For one, like an Onaho, that feels nice. That feels like a synthetic pussy. But an E, a girl thinks she can jerk me off better than I can, and then mounted onto that, she's using my cum sock to do it.
No, but what? All right, here's a situation. Here's a situation though. What if it's like one that's bringing a lot of attention to, like, say, leggings or something, and then she's like, they're like nice leggings. They theoretically feel nice because
isn't
it's
that a
Doujin, you can't
separate
fucking
tag
tell.
though?
And she's like,
Leggings
I'm
is very
gonna
long
fucking jerk you off with this or whatever. And
No.
fucking-
Are you saying like, oh, she's wearing leggings, she starts jerking you off with them?
She like kind of takes them off and like wraps your fucking dick in her.
It's still at the same
That's
time.
that's
Yeah.
different. That doesn't. I don't think that counts
But
as
I don't
sock
think
job.
that counts.
I don't think that counts as sock
I mean,
job.
it's sock job, like, in the same manner. It's still, I just still feel that it's the same way. It's like, I don't feel more appeal with, like, okay, I took my stockings off and I'm jerking off with them, compared to, like, an actual other hand job as
You
well.
know-
I don't really see it as too appealing. because like
I say E.
I would say
I'm
F,
going
actually.
to put this way. Anything that constitutes as a hand job will still always just be a hand job. Because some bitch thinks that she can jerk me off better than I can.
Right,
Like,
man? No bitch
The
can do that.
audacity, the tenacity, she thinks that,
Yo.
like, oh, I know your dick better
She
than
better
mine.
have that. She better have that.
Oh,
Hey,
listen.
Like,
Listen.
she
2 seconds, bro. 2 seconds is my lowest.
pops my dick out of my shorts, who starts jerking me off. Bitch, don't do that.
Bitch, watch this.
Hey, she better have that automatic lubrication hand system with that extra
Listen.
warm silicone.
Okay, is anybody fully against this, Kyle? I know that you were arguing against it. Would you like to say
What
He's
was your grade?
Here's the thing. I can argue against it because there are a few situations where I'm like, I think it elevates up. But the best, like, generally speaking, I would give it, like, D tier.
But the reason, the only way you can argue
was
it
thinking
is
F.
because you're using like stockings and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't think those are
but-
considered. I don't think those are classified as socks either.
Well, I consider it all the same because it's generally, you know, leg and footwear.
But even then, isn't the whole point of a sock job is to put your dick into it, not to have the girl wrap it around your dick? And
I mean,
jerk
it's
you off?
ultimately the same. You're being jerked off with a sock.
That's
Yeah,
why.
this
That's
is a
thank you.
fair point.
That's exactly why I put it in F tier, because there's a lot of other things that are better than a sock to do it with.
This is true. Like, I think the main benefit of it would be just the
Where's the
dynamic.
NTR tier?
I say that a lot.
I
I'm
keep.
gonna say that about
I say we
everything.
keep it in E.
Because, like, still at the point of it, it's still somebody's fucking sweaty, gross sock that you're being jerked off with.
True, but it's a woman's sweaty gross.
Don't make it no better. Even then, her sock might be so small it don't even fit around your cock. Especially if we're talking Doujin
come
logic.
Come on, that's bullshit.
Maybe mine, but I'm not fucking Doujin shit. you see the shit the guy in Doujin, they're just like, they slap that bitch on your fucking forehead.
All right,
I think we should all settle for a E tier. 'Cause
I
think F.
can concede.
Okay.
I can concede to E tier.
Sock job is in E tier. Okay. So now we will move on to our next one. Grandmother.
F.
Kyle, you put that one in there too.
Every single one that we've done so far has been
Because you were the one that was like, okay, I'm gonna put all of them in first.
You put in yours before me.
Then I don't know how they got before mine.
Probably just like you copy and pasted it.
Okay,
Probably.
you want to know what I think of Grandma? I think it's a fucking F.
F?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tyler, you better start making a case right fucking now.
Yeah, to Tyler.
I'm gonna lay some fucking knowledge on you, right? Either you're fucking an old lady and I'm like not into that, or they pull that fucking Doujin shit where they're like, where it's like a fucking lolly and she's like, I'm your grandmother, but I drink semen every day and it keeps me young.
Listen. D.
D? Okay.
You wanna know why?
Why?
'Cause I'll give her that D. Case and point!
I have never once seen a good grandmother
I
Doujin.
have.
Okay, would you like to cite some sources?
They're from anime.
Like, and you know, here's the thing. Here's another point that I'm gonna make, right? Like, the only time I've ever seen, like, grandmothers that, like, approach something, like, viable for a Doujin or anything, they age them down dramatically. They do not look like grandparents.
Okay.
I understand.
And then
Only-
it defeats the point.
But you're talking to someone who would fuck a grandma.
Hey, so the only grandma tier thing, or grandma tag that I've ever seen in my life of reading Doujins, in my time, is it turns out to be a legal lolly. That's what
that's what I
it
said
ultimately
earlier.
comes into. I've never seen one that's like a wrinkly grandma, like a mature section on Pornhub.com or some shit like that. Like
I still say D.
Okay, let's remove this then. Like, no legal lollies.
No legal lollies
No
or
legal
anything.
lollies allowed.
We're talking silver fox here.
F.
I say D.
I'm saying F.
F.
Eric?
Fist bump.
I want to hear why you say D.
Because I can appreciate an old, sexy lady. I love it. I love it with all my heart.
I think you're getting it mistaken because grandma is usually constituting someone wrinkly as fuck. And all
That's just your perception.
Some of the ones that say grandma are usually like people that look like they're in their 40s.
I'm starting to lean a little bit towards Tyler's because I have met some like not like 60s or 70s, but like maybe like early 50s.
Early 50s. I've seen some sexy.
We know one.
Listen,
we know one.
I've seen some sexy 60-year-olds, man. I've seen some.
Dead ass. You and I would
know phone until their cooch came bust.
Okay, but
let me raise you the point here for both Eric and Tyler. We're talking about Doujins, not IRL. Okay,
that's fair.
But
yeah.
I will say this: my big point
goes on to Doujins as well.
My big point is that I feel a lot of the reason it's like at that point the only indication that they are even older like that is a stray line of dialogue. Or just like a
even
single,
if they have like the wrinkles,
like
they actually draw the wrinkles on their face. I still don't mind.
I don't mind it when it's like when they show like 2 little wrinkles like by their nose or mouth or whatever, because like whatever. But then it feels like this does not feel like a grandmother.
Well, let me add on to that because remember Doujins are primarily Japanese, and if you look at how they base age off of people in anime, they base it off of Asian people. Asian people don't age, don't look like they age until they're literally 80.
This is
my mom is 54, and she looks like she's still in her 30s. And I guarantee you, no.
I call your stepdad, boy.
Give her fucking 6 more years. When she turns 60, just like that, wrinkles and all this other shit's gonna form right off the fucking overnight. Like that's why I think when it's usually a grandma that I've ever seen in doujins or anime or mangas, they're usually just frail, like actual grandmas or like just frail, tiny old women, and then there's no transition between foxy MILF that's literally maybe in her midlife crisis type, and then it just goes straight to grandma, right? Mm-hmm. And from the experience, I go with grandma, like quite literally grandma, and that's just yucky for me.
Okay, and I guess that's why it goes to D for me, though, because it's the same reason for you, except the opposite, because that transition stage before that.
But they're not actually grandmas then, because they're just middle-aged MILFs.
Well, right? What constitutes a grandma from a MILF? Just somebody that has a kid that also has a kid.
I'm gonna say this, because, I've said it defeats the point, but it's like, one of the things I hate is when I'm looking for a tag or something, and I'm looking through the tag, and I find some things and most of the things barely constituted at all.
Yep.
And if I were looking around for grandmothers, I'm looking through, I'm like, this is just MILFs.
Listen.
I see that is a fair
You know what? I'll bring it down to an E for you guys, but I'm not going F. Because I understand it might be hard to find the perfect grandma in those doujins, but trust me, she's out there.
She is somewhere out there.
You know what? I'll say let's compromise and go E, because I do have a point where there are some points where there are I haven't personally seen them, but I'm sure they're out there. They're just not
present.
It's
hard pressed to find.
Couple hundred doujins ever made that have that tag.
Yeah,
I will concede to an E then. Because, granted, like what Kyle said, a lot of the time it just
because it's a niche. It's a niche thing.
Yeah,
you actually have to dig.
You gotta find them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
a lot of the time it just ends up being a legal lolly or a vampire.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah.
So
I guess we can concede to an E.
Okay. Gentleman's concession of E.
Gentlemen's round table, all hands clasped together. E.
A compromise.
E.
Yes.
Of gentlemen.
All handshake, everybody.
Handshake.
Verbal, shake in front of the mic.
So Kyle, F here.
You know it, and I know it is in our heart of hearts.
You know it, and I know it.
That's fucked up.
Just water off a duck's back, Tyler.
Water off a MILF's back.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be fucking water. It's gonna be my cum.
Okay. Okay, stuck in wall.
Listen. Can we just classify the stuck in wall thing as just stuck porn overall, or do you have other options there?
What do you mean stuck porn?
Do you know what stuck porn is?
I want a clarification.
It's where like the girl or the guy gets stuck in random places and.
Kyle, you were the one that put it in there.
Yeah, because I was basing it on a
Because stuck in wall is a very common
yeah.
way.
I know what you're talking about.
Stuck in wall is a very common. I see it all the time, but there's also like stepmom got her hand stuck in the sink and you fuck her.
Okay.
I feel like no.
I feel like there needs to be a distinction.
I think stuck in the wall is a classic.
Do you know what the stuck in wall thing is?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of it.
It's
I
just
think
like
that is extreme enough that it
so we
can be
just go
different.
with that then.
Oh
Yeah.
no, random subject or random matter fell through the hole. I better go get it. Oh no, I'm stuck.
Oh no,
And
my
then
cock slid in.
random people, random businessman, or random ugly fat bastard comes by and
Hey, don't
rails
talk
the
about me
bitch.
like that.
This is where it kind of like it enters a gray area for me. I feel like it's like maybe B tier if it's just like one image. But like if it's a full story, I feel like it's maybe like C or D.
I would argue.
But
think
listen,
it can be better with a
listen.
full story.
Okay.
Are both ends an option in this?
They usually
Are
are.
both ends.
I will say yes
What is this?
because
animal?
because here's the thing, right?
Slaughtering animals?
The main point of the tag is that a person is stuck usually at the waist or something in something like their one half of them is on one side, the other half on the other side. Anything can happen with either side. Usually it's the backside, obviously, but anything can happen. So I think both sides are fair game in this.
Wait,
thing.
Kyle, I want to hear your letter.
Okay.
My letter, I would say it can go. And here's the thing: it's kind of iffy because it also leads it. There can also be a lot of non-con in here, and that kind of like lowers it for me.
Okay.
I think I would say a high B tier.
Really? Okay.
And I'll stake my claim here, just to kind of put the cards on the table. I think there's silly fucking ideas and dynamics that can be put into it, and to counteract the whole single image versus the whole story thing, I prefer it when there's like the kind of full course of like this scenario playing out to it, rather than just like, wow, look, it's a butt in a wall. I think the fact that both sides can be accessible allows for some fun
Diversity.
stuff. Yeah. And also, to an extent, it's kind of like a very specific extension of a kind of like, I don't want to say bondage, that's the word. Kind of like, an extension of the bondage thing where you're kind of like helpless and you're like, oh no. But I think the important part is that the understanding that this is ultimately consensual,
I don't think it's consensual, but
That's why it enters the D realm for me, because like
okay.
more often than not, or like, because I know there are a lot of ones that are consensual, but more often than not, I see it more as like.
Can I mention something?
And I don't like rape. Rape sucks.
Here's
Rape is
why
dumb.
I have 3 potential letters for this one. It could either be an A, a B, or like Eric said, a D.
Okay.
If it's an A, the only reason it could be an A is like, yes, if it's consensual, like say, your favorite neighborhood best friend going at it, then it's consensual. It has like some kind of actually like romance arc in it. That gives it an A. B, if it's like random girl and a bunch of businessmen like we had a hard day's work.
Hard day and a hard on.
Then like one will go in the front, one will go in the back. And that keeps it at B.
I got ringed out by my boss, so I'm going to ring this girl out.
What makes it a D tier is the ones where like they'll have like excessive cum coming out of it.
Where it's just like you're
It's
the
just
you're the
it's
public
disgusting.
use
You're
shit
pub-
where they're like writing on you. And shit.
Excessive cum. All the writing like 500 yen and you can fuck my asshole kind of thing.
Okay,
That's what makes it a D tier.
Here's
I
the
hate
thing
that
I am
shit.
going to a question I'm going to ask for the sake of that consent thing. Because obviously, a lot of the time, someone gets stuck in something. They're not like, I'm going to get in here and get stuck, although sometimes they are. Does it count as consensual if it happens and they're like, damn, I'm into this? Or does it have to be like explicitly like, I wanted this from the start?
I guess it would like go to damn, I'm into this, I guess. But like that's a very fine line, I'd say.
Yeah, and the thing is, normally I would treat that with more like care and like nuance, but this is hentai.
Yeah,
It's
doesn't exist.
doujins.
I think my opinions. I think Eric has actually swayed my opinions. I was thinking A because it's a classic. Let's be honest.
It
It's
is-
a classic
it is
kind of
scenario.
a
It's probably one of the fucking first things you nutted to.
But
when you
it
found out what
depends
doujins
on
are.
which one you
But-
read, which kind you read. That's why I gave the 3 options.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a very gray area one.
I was thinking on the same line of A tier for the nostalgic and the classic, scene. B tier for the usual, the actual,
The usual trappings of it, yeah.
and then I was thinking definitely D tier for the rape. Now that he mentioned it, this is probably going to get demonetized if at all.
We
don't
aren't
even get monetized.
from
I
the
know.
beginning.
I know, I'm
mean,
just kidding,
it's a tier
but-
list about doujin tags where
Yeah.
we're talking about fucking anime bitches.
So I
we're
think
fucked already.
my opinions have been lowered from an A to a B.
So can we all agree on B then?
I would say yes. I will concede to a B simply because it is a very gray area.
Okay.
We'll go with the majority, and the majority just tends to be, the 2 guys are fucking spit roasting the girl. That's what tends to be it.
Not the funniest ones where where the little kids come along and they just fucking
Poking on her pooper.
what's this? And then just sticks their fingers and then it's like I'm just dying
You know
laughing when I'm reading.
With what Q just said, S tier.
Tyler,
No, wait. It's like
I said,
I've already typed it and it's B tier. We're moving on.
like I said, the comedic value makes it an
We
A
are
tier
not
for me.
putting in children.
But rape definitely brought it down to
in
a
case
B.
anyone's wondering, I'm pretty sure Lolly is not on this list.
Lolly is not on this list, everyone.
We
You know
should
what's
put it on
funny?
there,
We aren't
though.
going.
Tyler, be careful what you're gonna say next.
We should put it on the list. So
I
that we
wanted-
can properly grade it though.
I wanted
Everybody No, it's not on the list.
to jokingly say like Lolly and Shada and all that shit on there.
I mean, like I said, it's a doujin. We're already talking about this. Why should it be off limits? Like we can just grade it. We're not gonna say, oh yeah, it's the best thing ever.
Okay, I'm not going to say where it is on the list, but Shota is above Lolly. Because I like MILFs more.
I
You know what?
I think, it's just
Fair
double
enough.
standards.
Fair
I
enough.
think it's double standards for Shota and Lolly because it's just like. If something vice versa happened, then they should both be equally bad.
When
So
it comes
I
to
would put
things
them in the
people
same
jerk
tier.
off to, it's always double
Okay,
standard.
we're
and
moving
that's
on
just how it
to
is.
we're moving on to more acceptable things to talk about. Armpit sex.
All right, you know what?
F.
I'm
F,
putting
F,
that F.
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 That's gotta be an F.
Okay.
No, listen.
No,
Can I explain? Can I please
Okay,
explain?
you
please,
can explain,
please.
then I'm going
Please.
to explain.
What's your letter first?
I'm going to say E. Because I don't think it's like terrible. It's not
Listen.
obscene. It's not like something disgusting that makes me sick. to
What
look
makes
at.
it F is what I tend to see, because I've seen a couple of this. They always tend to add like sweat particles,
It's smelly, it's sweaty,
and that's
gross.
It's smelly.
what's is it? Do we have something below F?
Oh, we should. I can guarantee we sure do.
I want to consider that shit below F because I hate when they fucking do that. Also hate fucking.
We have things on this list that
And
will
the
be
thing is,
below
right-
F. I can guarantee that.
But do we have on that list you got there, like the A to S to F?
All right.
Do we have one below F?
We probably do.
A tier below F.
We do not have a tier below F, but we have F.
Let me make it concrete why it's an F for me. Just imagine this: hairy, smelly. You already know.
But
Yeah.
listen,
Yeah.
no,
The
listen,
basics,
listen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In most Dojins, none of them tend to have hair unless it's like a MILF kind of deal.
Tyler does have.
And that's when they got pussy hair, and that's it.
but still,
And the
they're
thing
still
is,
out
right-
there. There's still people that are out there that draw shit like really greasy, even like with the S word,
But
smeg,
that's not.
and then
but that's
the
not
conglomerate.
But that's not even like. I feel like it's an E. It's not an F for me because like, from somebody that's learning how to draw, armpits, they are hard to do, and I can see like an artistic standpoint of like, I wouldn't like if it were me in that situation, I would never. But like from an artistic
But even
standpoint,
from
no, listen, I'm not done yet. I can say like I can appreciate this because it looks good to scale. I wouldn't
have a
enjoy this. I
counterpoint.
wouldn't like JO to it, but it's not like the worst thing that I could see.
I have a counterpoint to that. And, just quickly, my reasoning is just kind of an expansion of Tyler's. I don't mind a little bit of sweat or whatever, because that's whatever. But it's
That
like
happens.
the main focus of it is usually this idea of like grossness or, oh,
you
it's
just
smelly.
got done
but-
fit, like working out,
And here's the
fucking
thing.
that.
I was kind of, when you were saying that whole, like, artistic value of it, like, armpits are hard to draw, they are. And I was kind of agreeing with you on that. But then I thought, what is the time they actually use that? The only time it's ever like that is when the arm is up and you're basically just rubbing your dick against someone's armpit. That barely, to me, that barely constitutes as fucking in any way.
No, here's
This is true, but still, like,
My
okay, think about
counterpoint-
every other thing that's more worse
But-
than armpit fucking.
here's what I
And
imagine
then,
though.
like, think about that. Think about everything that's worse. That I feel like that deserves F tier. I don't feel
I
like
will
it's that
say-
terrible to deserve F tier.
Comparatively.
I don't like listen, I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. Like, if I see it, it's like, okay, whatever. And then I'll move on to something else.
Okay.
But, like, I don't feel like it deserves F tier.
Listen.
May I just
Let's
raise
give
one
Tyler
counterpoint?
his chance for this
Yeah.
for a second
Okay.
here.
Two things quickly. When I think of armpit fucking, I don't think of like, oh, her arms up and she's actually, and the guy's fucking rubbing against her pit. I think like her arms down, much like a thigh job, it's going in between.
That's what I think as
That's what I
well
was
too,
thinking,
too.
which is why I don't see the artistic value in it.
But listen-
explicitly.
Yes.
Do we hate the idea of this? Do you hate it?
I would say generally yes.
Do you hate it?
I don't hate it. It's just if I had any option of anything else, like constituting within the same value, just not armpit, I would say no. I don't hate it.
It's hard to say I hate it because it's not like it's not like I actively recoil in disgust when I see it.
Yeah.
But
That's why I don't feel like it deserves
But
F
here's
tier.
the thing, because the thing is like comparatively there are way worse things. But this is our personal tier list, and when I think armpit sex, I don't ever think about it. I don't ever look it up.
Exactly.
And and at worst case, there are times where I see it, and I'm just kind of like, I just kind of sigh. I'm like, ugh,
All right, next page.
not into it.
See, like, my counterpoint is, yes, armpits are very hard to draw. I've never drawn it, but I'm sure it is, because I can see the details when they, do their arm up and stretching or whatever they're doing, dancing. But the thing is, it's a doujin, right? And we are here to look at the art, but we are mostly here
To get that nut.
We're not really here
Listen.
There are very few doujins that, especially very few tags that are there purely for art, and I can only think of vanilla and some other stuff. I can't name it off the top of my head, but the first thing that pops into mind is
Wholesome.
vanilla and wholesomeness, right?
Yeah.
But like, in that sense, I can appreciate any art. Doesn't matter if it's a disgusting looking or perceived disgusting part, but it's
That is
just
true.
like, would I actively seek it out? No. Would I want to really see it in a doujin? Not really. It's like, especially with the hair one, it's just like, it's kind of greasy.
But listen, to quote what you just said, when you said not really, here's where Eric has finally swayed me. I think we should put this in E tier. Because it's not something we absolutely revolt at. We may be a little disappointed when we see it, but we'll still read
What
on.
tier is socks at? I think we should put it at the same tier
Okay.
as socks.
Socks was E, I think.
Then
Yeah,
let's put it
socks
at
was E.
let's put it at E.
So I guess we can kind of say like the dividing line between an E and an F is the difference between I don't particularly
Either we
like
don't
this
like it or we
and
don't
I
hate it.
hate it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll
Then
have
with
that guideline.
With that understanding, I think E would be fair.
Okay.
A low E.
Yeah, low E.
E minus.
Okay.
See, is NTR on there? Because that's going to be a fun discussion.
That was the last one.
That's the oof.
The final one, but that's jumping ahead. That's too
Yeah.
far ahead. We can't discuss that now.
So now we have breast expansion.
But let's,
Not a fan at all.
Not a fan. I don't
Like,
breast expansion.
Active.
listen. Listen.
F. That's disgusting.
S.
S.
I'm joking.
S.
I'm
You
joking.
should get out of here.
How are we talking about like breast expansion?
We're talking, you got tits, it doesn't matter what size they are. It's at the start, the entire point is that they are growing bigger.
F.
F.
F. F.
Okay. Let me raise some points though.
Okay,
We're
okay.
talking about the really disgusting ones with like just all the disgusting tags.
Just anything inflation. Get that fucking shit out of here. F.
Like technically speaking, breast expansion makes sense if it's like a story where a lady becomes pregnant and then like.
But that's like that.
That's like the normal
that
stuff.
enters
not-
into like story arc.
That's
Yeah.
the
But
kind of
I wouldn't
that's the
consider
kind
that
of thing.
breast expansion either, though.
Yeah, because that's the thing that is like that's a real thing that just happened naturally.
We're,
And
We're
if that happens,
establishing-
I wouldn't consider that an actual
Yeah,
tag.
that's why I set that out first, so that we're establishing the fact that it's one of the really gross ones. Where
yes.
it's grotesquely
And you know,
massive.
here's my thing for it. As someone who draws female characters or whatever, the thing I hate is like I try to keep things proportionate. And the big whole thing with drawing like tits and art is that everyone draws them so massive. I'm fucking sick of it. And I know
love
people
it.
who have a breast expansion fetish and who draw a lot of breast expansion content, and I'm like, I just don't want to look at it.
There
I
are
just
people
really
that
don't.
like I actively really like their art style. It's just I will turn away from them because they just draw them so like
It's just too
disgustingly
much.
large.
yeah, it's too much. I can agree with that.
I don't mind it, but in the sense where, like, say the girl in the Doujin, the first panel, A cup. At the end of the fucking Doujin, double Z's. You know what I'm talking about? I don't like that.
No, it's the World Cup, baby.
Exactly, I don't fucking like that. But like, say she rocking some fucking Asians to begin with, bro. I don't fucking mind that. I love that. I love
Well,
big tits.
And here's the thing, right? I would be more lenient on it if it were like, oh, you're like an A cup and then you like go to a D cup at the end. I would be a little more like receptive to that, but we all know that it never stops.
It's
at
gonna
all.
end
Yeah.
It will never.
D.
It will never be.
That's why it's an
that's
F tier
another
for
thing.
me.
Like here's the thing though too. I mean, like yes, it is definitely bordering on F cup, but I'd still put it at an E because like yes,
No.
it is. No, listen, hear me out.
You're not gonna sway me.
But I'm going to try.
No, there's no
That's
point.
the one thing that I know how to do in this world. That's the one thing that I know how to do in this life. A lot of people
Expand
who pride
breasts.
themselves are on like what they can do and what they can't do. Here's what I can do in my life. I can try. But I don't see breast expansion as like this borderline awful, terrible thing. Granted, I don't like it. I really don't like it. I don't enjoy it in any stretch of the means. It's just I don't see it as like an F. Because, like we said before, F and E, there are very fine lines. I still see it as a low E because I don't like anything body dysmorphia. But I don't see it as like something that I will actively recoil at in like fear or
And
disgust.
that's the difference between you and me on this, because I
Getting
keep it
close to
F
the door.
because I actually do.
Okay.
Like, the thing is, right, it's one of those things where I see it and I turn around and I walk away, you know? Like, I actively do not like that. So I have to be steadfast in my F because I genuinely just don't like it.
I'm sticking to F. Like, it's something I am a fan of big boobs, but they gotta start as big boobs.
And
Here's the only way it could shift me to a very, very low E. Is like, say it's like a childhood thing, like, oh, it starts off,
like across their lifetime?
Yeah. Like, say, oh, they were childhood friends, and next you know, the girl or the guy moved away for like 10 years.
And the thing is, right, I feel, because I've seen ones like that, I feel that's less breast expansion and more just aging up.
Yeah.
That's like the fetish of...
That's what I'm saying, like,
women.
that's the only way I could ever put this in E, but it's an F.
I think it's definitely an F for me because it's just on the line of just grotesque, and that's what sells me
Like,
to F.
it is a very gray area for me as well, and I will concede for an F simply because, like, if it were just like A cup to a B cup, that would be fine for me. But
You
like,
don't-
you
Well,
know,
then
it
you
never
would-
goes to that.
But you would, you would never count that as boob inflation because it's not really that
And
much.
I feel like,
difference.
and I'll make this stipulation kind of read in your mind here. I'll say, like, the only real defense you seem to have for it is just, well, I don't want to see it ever, but someone does.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
I
this is
feel
based on
that's
your
not
own
fair.
personal opinion.
If it was my, like, if it was just strictly for me, I still don't like seeing it. I will
Then
not.
You
like,
have to say F.
But that's the thing, though.
You
For
can't
me,
think of other people.
It's not even just thinking of other people. It's just, like, if I see it, I'm not, like, actively, like, disgusted by it, like what you would be with an F. Because F is just disgusting. It's terrible. But, like, I'll click off of it. I won't look at it. But, like...
But the fact that you even clicked off it and didn't even bother to continue to read it makes it an F. Because E you can somewhat bear.
And I'll also add this stipulation because I know most of what's on this list. There's gonna be some stuff that where it's just gonna be like an instantaneous,
A flat out F.
like
Yeah.
it's gonna be like straight up like this revolts me as opposed to I hate it. So if we're going to continue stipulating like, well, I don't.
Granted, yes, that is where I'm drawing it from too, because I know there's much worse stuff than
Yeah,
this
and
on
the thing
list.
is, right, I feel it's unfair to compare them so much like that because I feel F tier is basically going to be like if we continue like that, F tier is just going to be the tier where you put the worst of the worst, the things that we already knew was like the things we put on the list knowing like we're putting this at the bottom.
Okay, I'll put it this way: if I didn't know that the other things were on the list, it would be an F.
Okay, and I think that's fair. So
What's the next one?
F.
Okay, we will put breast expansion in F.
A moment of silence.
Yes.
A moment of silence for the
for our
titties.
breast expansionist.
For our breast expansion
So-
fellows.
Oh, you
Supremacist.
fucking die next time you
So
know.
Riona, what is Riona?
Riona.
What is that?
Because I don't.
Oh,
actually know
I
that
figured
one.
you might know Riona.
What is that?
It's,
Remind me.
It's when you beat the shit out of someone.
Ugh, no, F.
F.
I hate
F.
that. I don't like that.
Like, it's actively, like, punching someone,
You're-
bruising
Oh,
someone,
during-
Some
drawing
fucking
blood.
euphoria shit right there. As
So
you're
like
fucking
you're
choking
literally
the bitch.
fucking
Like,
them,
you-
fucking
you
their brains
are-
out while fucking giving them a donkey punch.
Yeah, you are just straight up blackening their eye, you're bruising them.
no,
Uh,
F.
F.
Flat out F. I don't like
F.
it.
I dropped that in an
I
F
was
too.
I was gonna say
And
E
that's-
if it's like if it's a guy that deserves it or something, but
I don't even like that because it's still
then
kinda,
that
like,
goes
fucked
on
up.
to the guru category, where it's like
Yeah.
it's not like femdom.
Like,
the guy's a scumbag.
Riona is
He-
basically just, it is like Guru for people who don't want to see intestines, you know?
Oh,
Ugh.
I've seen some
Like-
gurus. Some of them are.
And that's exactly why I made the point about the last one. Like, there is stuff like this on here
F,
where
F.
we're all just gonna say it's F.
F.
F. And usually it's usually the girl getting the beating, right?
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
F.
definitely.
F.
Yeah.
There's very certain niche dojins where it's the opposite way around, and the guy's an actual scumbag.
Yeah.
But
There
What
it is.
about humiliation? That's the next one.
And here's the thing, right?
B.
Really?
B. Just
B?
because it depends on the dojin. I know there's or C. Let's go for C because I'm going from the exact opposite of the spectrum. There's really good ones where they humiliate like a scumbag MC, and then there's really bad ones where they humiliate like a really nice girl or a really nice MC, right?
Listen. Here's where I'm going to interject. I will agree with Q with C,
but it's very dependent on the actual Doujins themselves.
It's the humiliating ones that like say you're having sex in public, but the guy is actively making sure everyone fucking notices you. So like you're humiliating her.
That's an effort.
Honestly, I think that's better than the alternative. Because the thing is, right, I suppose it's kind of the distinction between like a spiteful humiliation and just I am embarrassed, you know?
Yeah.
It's like and to this isn't specific to like sex or Doujins or whatever, but it's like the difference between like an embarrassed nude character or someone who has had the clothes ripped off them and thrown into a crowd. Like, look at this bitch.
I prefer the first one. The first one's what makes it a C.
The first one is what makes it an A in some scenarios, even, but it's never It's because of the opposite spectrum, because of how extreme the spectrum is.
Contrast.
There's no middle ground. That's why I put it at the middle ground of C.
I would have to go for a D, just for myself, because, for one, I wouldn't like that to happen to me, and two, I don't think that I could ever do that to somebody else. For looking at if it's just strictly Doujin, I can be like, okay, I can just ignore like all plot lines and everything. Hey, these are good titties.
It's more or less like here's the Doujin plot right here. You and your girl, you guys are together. You guys are all lovey-dovey, and you want to experiment. You want to become exhibitionists. You want to fuck outside.
But then just like do exhibition-ism.
And
that's where the lines get blurred between
let me continue.
humiliation and exhibition.
But let me continue. You're doing it in public. But like say your girl suddenly she moans very loudly and you start gaining a crowd. There's people actively watching.
So like it elevates into something like
that.
I think that's just exhibitionism at that point.
Like she is full on embarrassed, but she's not telling you to stop.
The thing I feel is the distinction between humiliation and other things is when it is like someone has specifically and consciously taken the onus to like they're trying to get you like embarrassed or something. Like
if it's based off that, I'm considering it an F.
Like,
I think
that like humiliation is like humiliation. Like to me, like a more tame version of humiliation to me is like people are like, oh, they're at like a public place and they're like, let's go into the side room and fuck, and they're fucking, and the guy like kicks open the door while he's balls deep in this chick, and he's like, look at this slut, and she's like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, I'm fucking you because you're a slut.
I think I changed my mind because I thought at the most. For me, it's ever going to be, even in a wholesome Doujin, it's going to be an A tier, just because of that. So if I go from middle ground of A to F, then it's going to be D. So I'm going to go with the D tier.
And here's the thing. I was going to say, my initial thing was D tier, because I don't like I don't like that idea of like, when I think of humiliation, I think of spite.
Yeah, if you're doing it out of spite, then I'll
like I see spite, and you know I don't want to drag too much, like other tags into it because this is supposed to be a limited tag thing.
Yeah.
But like you know, a lot of the time it also involves some other stuff. You know, like it involves blackmail or this or that.
Yeah.
And I so whenever I think of humiliation, I think of like spiteful, actively trying to make this as bad for a person as possible.
Yeah, like some tags you have to bring up other tags because they just go together.
Intrinsic.
Yeah, they're quite literally related to one another.
So,
and blackmail is exactly why it should belong in the F tier because that's the most common tags together.
Mm-hmm.
But
on its own,
odd, rare, decent ones that are actually wholesome in some certain ways.
Mm-hmm.
That's what brings it to a D tier.
And like, and I'm not sure if there's actually a tag differentiation for that, but another reason why I keep it in D tier, where while there are still some good ones out there, the main difference is I draw the semantic difference between embarrassment and humiliation. And so because I'm focusing on humiliation, I say like D tier probably.
Okay.
So we all agree on D.
I agree
think-
on D tier.
I think
Yeah,
we
we-
come
I
to an
think D
agreement
tier's
for
good.
that.
Okay, D tier agreement. So,
If it was embarrassment, that would be A.
If it were embarrassment, it would be pretty high up.
I think it'd
So-
be E.
I think we can just breeze on from the next one because the next one was blackmail.
We know it's F. F.
Yeah,
F.
Yeah,
F.
F, F, F,
F tier.
F all around the board.
S.
Okay, explain.
S for shit. S for shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
But I can't really like talk about that because I've never read a Doujin that had blackmail in it.
I mean, it's pretty much how it is. Like, hey, you know.
My
more
cock
we
is
have-
the biggest
we have
cock
more.
and it's going
Okay.
to destroy
Okay.
you.
Nah, it's usually like, you know, I've got some information or some like shit like,
Depending on
hey,
the
I
time,
got
we
your
might have to
fucking
skip a
nudes,
couple
and it's
then.
like, you're gonna be my fuck toy, and or
Then
whatever.
F.
And it's
F.
even worse when they mix it with like mind break shit, where they like over the course of time they just come to like it, and I just sit there, I'm like, ugh.
Stockholm syndrome.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Stockholm
Gross.
syndrome of it. Don't like it. F tier.
So next one we have is large insertion.
What's
Large insert.
Oh,
You're
God.
inserting a large thing into your body, like massive dildo, massive
I think
dick.
that for me belongs in E tier.
that? E.
Even F. Even F. I think E.
I
I'd
don't
say
think it's
E.
an F. It is not an
I
F.
think it's
to
an
me.
E.
It's
It's
an E.
I'm going to go with Kyle and Tyler and say that it's an E because like from an artistic standpoint, it's probably hard to draw.
It's grotesque, but it's not
And-
as grotesque as some
Okay,
other
well,
stuff.
let's lay this. Let's lay
How
down,
big?
Lay down this rule right
That's
now.
listen, that's the thing too. The how big point. It's
Yeah.
like a
no,
that's
no.
an important point too.
We need to lay down this rule right now. No more looking at it from an artistic standpoint. You're looking at this. You want to bust a fucking nut.
Okay.
No more artistic standpoint. Because
Hey, then I can't say S for my vanillas or shit like that.
I will still say an E at that point then because there's other stuff leading up to that too.
I think
Like,
majority of the large insertion ones are modestly large instead of grotesquely large.
Yes.
Right?
no fucking
That's
horse
why-
cock.
That's why I think it's an E.
And here's the
or
thing,
like some
right?
massive fucking 70-foot tall ogre or something.
And here's one of the reasons why it's not
I
larger
love
for me
those.
because
Those are funny.
I'm fine with a
They're fun.
I'm fine with a like a Doujin or whatever where a female character's like I like them big. I'm fine with that. The thing is, however, I'm not a fan of dicks. And if you just throw a bigger dick in my face, I'm like, yeah, this does
Especially
nothing for me.
not-
with
too.
ones that tend to have that tag, the dick is like usually the main focus as well.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
talking on there. you
So
know?
we all saying E.
I can say
I'd
yes.
say
E.
E. Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna click away, but I might finish watching, like reading it just to see what happens.
Well, and it's also even worse because like
Sure.
they also tend to include like fucking like the stomach bulge and shit
yeah,
with that.
I kind of like it.
I'm not a huge fan of that, honestly.
I don't mind it, but I don't hate it.
There are times when I like it if it's subtle, but like most of the time it's just like
Yeah, it's
Like,
not
no.
even, it's not even like a stomach thing. It's
It'll
like
be okay.
in their fucking chest at that point.
where it's like sticking out from them and you feel like it's gonna pop out of their chest like a goddamn xenomorph.
Yeah, I don't like those.
Q just added one.
Oh,
So
no.
We are all in agreement that like
E.
large insertion is E. Right?
Yeah, E.
Okay.
I think the one I just added is going to be very quick because I have a feeling you guys are
Q
all
just added one for sense.
I'm scared. Sensors.
Yeah.
censored. Censor tag.
That's such a weird one.
I would say a
'Cause censor
strong
goes-
C.
I would say a strong F. I hate it when it's censored. I
Here's
don't
the
like
thing,
anything
though.
censored.
Here's the thing, because we're talking about Doujins. Like, it's reached the point where I will find a Doujin that is censored, and I won't even notice or care because.
But the
it's
sensory
hardly
in
matters.
Doujins tend to be a super small, microscopic, thin white line.
Not.
They're the ones that I notice more are when they
agree
like
with Q on this.
where they white it out.
I think it's just an F because I want to. Even if it's ugly, even if it's gore, even if it's like some grotesque shit, I want to appreciate the time it took to.
It does
Instead of
defeat-
some
it does,
edit,
yes.
someone just white it out, and it's just
And-
like
But minus
that's-
Q's thing,
That's why I will put it in C because censored is a
exactly.
very broad spectrum. Because like a lot of the things that are censored, like half of it I don't want to see, the other half I really do want to see.
But even then, I love seeing some of Doujin censoring because it literally just gets down to the point where it's just small black bars that don't really even censor anything, yet it still counts.
And
Yeah.
That's what I'm basing it on.
Here's what I'll say, right? Some of my favorite like scenes or clips or clips, panels basically in Doujins tend to not have a lot of explicit shit shown. Because I just like the other ones that focus on like a face or like a different angle or something, and where you're not like getting an eyeful of cock and vagina, you know. And so like with censoring, like obviously I cannot say I like it because I don't see the point of it. There's no point to it. It defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
But as I said before, half the time I barely notice it, and I find it hard to actually lower the score for it, because it has never once been, it has maybe like once or twice only ever been like something that actually detracts from it.
See, I can understand your guys' standpoint, but it's just like the editor, whoever edited this, took the extra time to obscure the vision of the entire page. Whether how small of a percent it may be, we all know it's either blurred out, pixelated, whited out completely, black lines, or even white lines.
Even that, I find it funny sometimes because, like I said, their censorship doesn't really censor it sometimes, unless you're doing like the whole like white circle that like fades it out.
And that's why I put it in a strong C.
Yeah.
Because, like, it literally is a blurred line. Because, one hand, it does detract
It's
from...
just this pure middle ground.
Yes, because it does detract from something that somebody made, as well as, like, a lot of the time it doesn't feel like it even matters. That's why I put it in a C.
I don't know. Like for me, I feel like it
fit a
matters.
C. I can feel I can leave it in C.
I often don't really... I don't really care. I'm gonna get my nut off anyways.
And that's why I feel like it deserves a C. Because a lot of the time it doesn't fucking matter. But
I'm not reading a Doujin to read it. I'm looking for the good panel so I can fucking nut
It
my
takes
phone.
away from something that somebody made, but sometimes it doesn't even feel like it doesn't change too much.
I still feel. I mean, for me, I'm a strong believer of the F tier, but because we have to come to a general consensus, I'm willing to go D.
No.
I really hate.
You can't
censoring.
go D. It's censored.
I fucking
Okay.
hate.
I will put it in a D if we were taking censoring as in like swear words or everything on like TV and everything. I will put it in a D for like censoring in general of like everything in humanity. Censoring sucks. But if it's just strictly like porn, whatever, I'll put it in a C.
But like then again, like what it depends on the censoring. I can see why Q hates it. Because like some of the censors it's dumb.
It's obstructive, especially in like larger panels that focuses on the action that's being taken right there and right then and there. It's just like, for me, it's just like, well, congrats, you just covered 30% of the page with your whiteout.
Well, by the
I'm just
time
like-
I've seen like when I
And I can't speak from experience with that. I've never seen one that was that bad.
Well, this is mostly coming from the website that starts with N. And on a lot of the vanilla, I mostly frequent vanilla sites and vanilla tags, like the one that starts that ends with a cafe, or the one that ends with a Mino. They're actually not censored over there, which I appreciate, and it's more like I don't actually get off to that shit because it's vanilla in the first place, but it's just on the site that starts with an N, it's just like some of the ones are just really obscuring the entire thing, and it's just really distracting for me anyways. Like, maybe I'm just OCD about it, but it's just, for me, I feel like, number one, you practically just ruined this man's art, no matter how small it is. I don't like any blemishes on other people's art. You have the right to make your own based off of it, but you shouldn't fucking,
Mess with the original.
this is wrong, let's hide it. That type of
Yeah.
shit. That's why I put it in F, but I'm willing to agree to a D.
I'm willing to concede to a D.
I'll concede to a D on a similar note to Eric. Just like this idea, like you're defeating the purpose. I see no point to doing it.
Yeah.
So I guess I. Can
I
go
put it
with
on
that.
the same level as like somebody redrawing somebody else's art on like Tumblr and shit. Because
What, the bad ones or the good
the
ones?
bad ones.
Okay. Because there are some really good ones.
I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole.
I want to stick it to C because it's a high tier C. So to bring it down to a D,
But the thing about the D too is like C and D, they're a middle ground, and I feel like censored is still a middle ground. But like,
I feel like we could probably take away 1 or 2 tiers, to be honest, because we all know the hierarchy. It's dog shit, top shit, and then there's
The shades
there's
in
the
between.
decent middle, and then there's the decent good, there's the complete neutral, and then there's the decent bad.
we will put it up to a vote then.
How many tiers do we have?
S, A,
S tier,
B,
A
C,
tier,
D.
B tier, C tier,
7.
D tier, E tier,
F tier.
and F tier.
Yeah, we have 2 more tiers than we need, technically speaking, in my opinion.
But it's good.
Well, I would even argue just
How about
It's
we
good
just
to
put
have
it
the
to a
variety
vote?
with, huh?
We just put it to a vote at this point. We have 3 people for E tier or D tier, and we have 1 person for C tier.
or unless you guys are willing to change to C.
At first, I was considering C, but now that I think more about it, I will concede to a D.
I'll keep it a D because we should move on.
I thought it was going to be quick.
Yeah, you
Well,
were
the thing
mistaken there.
The thing about censored is in a lot of them. Censored is a big one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
The
I
thing
thought
is,
it was
I
just
don't
like
mind it.
obstruction. You know, people are thinking, oh, it's an obstruction. It's just annoyance, so it'll be F. and
I
better be
personally
done
don't
with it.
care. I'm gonna get my nut off anyways.
We will put it in a D tier.
We'll leave it at a D and then we'll move on.
What's the next
Speaking
one?
of D, Demon.
A.
I would say A too. I'm willing to put an A in Demon.
I haven't experienced too many, so I would probably have to put it B.
Because I'm struggling between A and S.
A and S.
Because here's the thing. Here's my thought. Demon is so versatile. You can have anything from like a human with like shitty little wings, or you could have like a different skin colored like the multicultured fucking.
Then let's
demon
say
with
this.
some crazy shit.
They don't look human. They will.
They are very obviously demon.
Yeah, they'll
Like,
have
we're
like
talking,
the
like-
red skin, the horns, everything.
Like
Red.
there's the difference between Oni and Demon.
So it's like the difference between just like when they say demon, like one's a succubus and the other one is like a full blown fucking monster, right?
Not that kind of demon, but like, we're talking like, do you know like the famous demon that's going around like red demon? She got horns. You know, she fucking.
Red demon,
Extra thick.
big horns, fucking crazy shit.
Like,
Like
I'm thinking monster.
you're not gonna
demons.
mistake them for a human, exactly. But they're
Okay.
not like straight monstrous. Although I suppose
They're
they could be.
humanoid, but you can tell they're a demon. Like they got like a human kind of body.
Okay.
I would still say strong A.
Strong A.
Strong A.
You know what? I will go down to an A because I've seen a lot of demon, and I'm like, oh hell yeah, demon, and then they whip out a dick.
That is a good point too.
Food.
Demon-
Like
Yeah,
they
demons
always
tend
do
to have
that.
dicks a lot.
A lot of demons.
Okay, that's
a lot of demons will sit there. It's like
puts it at a B for me then.
they're like I'm a demon, so naturally I got a fucking peener.
For me, it's very hard to pull off Fudas, and now that you mentioned it, it's gonna be a B tier for me.
Oh,
I gotta
majority
stick.
votes
I
get-
gotta
get
stick to an
fucked.
A.
I have to stick to an A too.
'Cause,
Simply
like,
because I've seen
even-
a lot more good demon than I have seen bad demon.
But
Even-
also, I have to say that I don't have as much experience in this category because I don't actively seek this out.
I'll
Well,
say
we
even.
are sinners here.
Yeah, we're all in the. In
Well, we
hell.
hope to get visited by the
And
demon.
here's the thing, like the
To
fucking
get railed by one with
Maybe.
the Fuda cock?
to play devil's advocate, pun intended. I'll say at least even if it's with Fuda, at least there's the chance it'll be on another female, so I can at least say that much.
Yeah,
But does the Fuda got puss?
I
Does
mean,
it have balls?
for me, it still
I'm gonna be
doesn't
honest.
matter.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Like whether or not the Fuda's got a puss as well, it doesn't matter.
If there's
For
a
me, it
dick on
does. Because
I can see why it matters to you, but it doesn't to
well,
me.
listen. Depending on the food, like say that she got a fucking food cock and she's got balls bigger than my fucking head. I don't like that shit.
Yeah, hyper I hate. So, but like, honestly, it's even more off-putting. Honestly, if they've got both because it's under the balls, and that's really weird.
That's why I asked. Because like, there's some fooders out there who just have the.
We are just thinking strictly.
We're going off.
We're going off on a tangent.
Fudo was never even originally a part of it.
Yeah,
It's-
we've gone into the bad zone.
It's still an A.
Yeah,
You guys
demon
I
A.
mean, you guys have the democratic vote of A, so we'll just stick it at A. And another one is I don't have experience as much because I don't actively seek out this tag.
They tend to be very, very good.
Yes.
So it's more like a neutral, I guess, good for me because I've seen very little, and
They tend to. So
they
honestly,
haven't been grotesque, or they haven't been the ones that I try to actively avoid.
honestly,
right?
some of them tend to be like very wholesome, and like you tend to really enjoy it.
Okay, what's the next?
Cross-dressing.
Are we talking like
Both
femboys and
ways.
tom girls?
Both ways.
We'll say both ways.
Both ways.
Because then you get, like,
Wait,
kinda tomboys.
remind me, are traps on that list?
Traps are not on the list.
Okay,
it on
then
there.
both ways.
Put it on
No, we're
there.
not putting traps on
No?
the list. That will just convolute things.
Because I was gonna say limit it to like just one way
I mean,
if
traps
traps
can go
were on the
both ways
list,
too, right?
but
That is true.
if they are not,
That's what I'm saying. Is this tag also including femboys
I
and
will
tom
say-
girls or tomboys?
All right, I will just break the
Femboys,
ice,
tom
and
girls.
I will say a C, because then you get tomboys and you get reverse traps.
All right.
I feel like they are a fine
think-
line. I will not actively search it out.
I was gonna say
but-
B.
I was gonna say C because it goes both ways, and there's usually cross-dressing involves humiliation, and I don't like that tag. They usually coincide from what I've witnessed so far.
That is true.
So for me, C at best.
I say B because I don't mind a like femboy here and there, but I also love tom girls or tomboys.
you probably also like tom girls. Because
I will stick to my guns and say it's C. A C.
I just love like the panels you see, like say it's a tomboy in this situation, and he finally reveals that she's actually a she. I love that.
I do like reverse traps. Reverse traps is good.
Is that what it is? Like tomboys are technically reverse traps.
It's a reverse trap. It's a woman who looks like a dude,
Yeah,
and then you're like, wow,
she tends to have huge boobs.
yeah.
So are we all in agreement of a C?
Well,
B.
Will you concede for a C?
No.
No? Okay.
I will say, put it in.
It's
in
a
C.
fine line.
I will put it in C because while I like what's on offer, most of the time I think it's aiming for something I'm not into, which is dudes cross-dressing.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Because I like a woman who can pull off some like male clothes, or I like a reverse trap. But most of the time, it's going to be a dude in a maid outfit or a straight up trap.
I
I don't care what your pronouns are. Put on the maid outfit. And then
I like tomboys, so that's why it gets a C for me.
another thing.
That's
too,
what makes it a B for
a
me.
A C makes it alliteration.
Man culture.
But also, here's the thing. Here's why it's also still a B for me. Because I don't mind.
Yeah,
traps.
you're a lot. You have a few more like options.
You're a little
in your
bit more
repertoire here.
versatile than the rest of us.
They got a cute butt. I'll put my dick.
But
The reason
because
why
of
it's not a
that-
D for me because I don't like seeing men in women's clothes, especially the buffer ones, is because tomboy brings it up to a C for me. Because I really do like tomboys.
So, are you willing to concede for a C, or are you going to stick for your guns to a B?
In my heart, it is a B. But you guys got majority.
Okay. C. So cross-dressing.
I'm surprised you guys didn't put traps on there. Because they can go both ways too.
I don't want to go anywhere the trap's going.
If
Well, the
Trap
thing
was
is-
on
Oh,
here,
even if it's a
BNF.
tomboy?
I feel like Trap would still go fairly low because most of the time when you
Trap,
talk about,
if it Trap the tag itself, if it was on the list, it'd probably go in D.
odds are it's mostly guy when it's a trap,
Yeah.
and that's why it would score lower.
there's
for me
like
because
30,000
simply-
In
tags.
fact, I think there
There's
is actually a tag for reverse
What
trap.
if there's
Yeah.
no? You know, I guarantee you, it's like there's like 30,000 Doujins for traps, and like at least half of it is Astolfo from Fate.
Oh,
Here's
mostly.
here's one that's gonna draw some lines, at least for me. Tattoo.
Tattoo.
S.
S?
S.
S. Tyler.
S.
What type of tattoos are we talking
I would
here?
say
There's usually a lot of
None of
bad
that-
ones.
None of that gay bitch stuff like tramp stamps or you got a little heart on your breast. I mean, like, this bitch is tatted.
I wouldn't say S.
I would say.
I would
E.
not say S.
E?
E. Oh.
I would argue E.
I'd
because I
go
find it-
down.
For me personally, I would say A or B because like I have a tattoo and I want to go and get more tattoos, and I think that it's visually appealing.
Here's the thing
Here-
I feel. It's all or nothing, basically. Like, if you've got a character who's like, she's tatted the fuck up and like, it's a part of her character, how she's like the kind of person who's like, I'm gonna have a sleeve of tattoos, I can get into that because it's a fucking aesthetic.
Mhm.
But if it's like, oh, I got like a single heart tattoo somewhere,
No.
that's kind of
That's why
I sleep.
That's why I specify.
And
That's
I'll also
pussy
say
shit.
this. I'll also say this. When they go and get like tramp stamps and shit, don't like that.
Or if they're
Let
getting
me-
tattoos
And that's-
like in the Doujin as well, like in Emergence where like they're fucking pinned down and drugged.
We've
and
done
shit.
it, boys. We've mentioned emergence.
Yeah.
We've
I
invoked it.
I don't like that.
Let me
Yeah.
assert my claim why it's an E tier. Sure, there may be tattooed women in Doujins that have the aesthetic sleeves or the entire story or get-up of tattoos, but the majority that I've seen so far are the ones that have Stockholm Syndrome, or they have forcibly gotten tramp stamps and shit like that. That's why
That
I
is
think
more common.
that
Yes.
is
It
the most
definitely is
common
more
ones.
common.
that's why I think it's an absolute E tier. That's why it's not an F tier for me.
And here's the thing, I like it's surprisingly rare, but I do really like that aesthetic of having a lot of tattoos. But this Tyler's not gonna like this one. One of the big reasons I like it is artistically because I think it just looks really nice.
I can understand that. That's what I'm thinking.
And
I had the same thought. Like, if the
I've
guy's
always-
fucking the girl, I'm looking at the tattoos. I'll be honest.
Yeah, you got some fucking crazy. And I always remember, it's like when we were at the
Octopus
Comic Con,
butthole
and
tattoo.
it's like when we were at the Comic Con, and there was the like shirt or whatever, and it was Alice from Alice in Wonderland, but she was like punk and had like tattoos all on her.
I have like 3 of those shirts.
Yeah, and that's an aesthetic. And I also remember the one I sent. It was a really nice image of Sailor Moon, but she was all tatted up and shit, and it had a really nice style to it. And I'm like, that hits right, But it for me, I will say with tattoos, I will keep it at around I will put it around a C, maybe a B tier, because while I do really like it when they do what I like about it, it's
More
by
often than
far
not, it's the bad stuff.
yeah, it's more often than not
And-
not that.
That's why I'm willing to concede to a C because it is definitely an aesthetic that I enjoy. It's just I know with the subject matter, it normally tends to sway between the unsavory
Yeah.
with like Stockholm syndrome and like rape elements as well.
Mhm.
But if you're going to bring that into the equation, I will reduce it to a C. But I was willing to go down to an A if it's like, say, just it's like a normal tatted up girl. Like you probably tend to see them in like Doujins that are probably meant for like females, because obviously they got more focused on the guy and the girl isn't like as pretty as in normal Doujins we read.
Mhm.
And they're the ones that tend to like the full sleeves. They'll have like the back, maybe like the chest. They'll have something cool here. I want to stick to an A or an S.
They have the Sonic the Hedgehog tattoo on the titty.
Because There are specific tags for tramp stamps and shit like that.
Is there?
Yeah.
Yes.
What is it?
Tramp
Tramp
stamp.
stamp.
Literally. Wow.
And so with that logic, I can bump it up to a B. You know.
I haven't seen that tag. All I've seen is just tattoo, and it's usually the unsavory ones. That involves
I will-
humiliation,
I will,
blackmail,
without a problem,
NTR.
bump it up to a B.
You think you can concede for a B?
Listen, Tyler, I would be with you. It's just, a lot of the time with the subject matter, it doesn't tend to be the way we want it to be.
I mean, I would concede to a C, but I wouldn't go to a B. Because we're talking about Doujins here. We're not talking about Sailor Moon.
And
There
that's
may
the
be
thing.
True,
Sailor
true.
Moon Doujins out there, but I haven't seen any with tattoos of, aesthetic ones on there. So if we're talking strictly Doujins, they're technically mostly negative when it comes to tattoos. And the ones that are positive, quote unquote, are like Yakuza, story-based type ones, or something like
I don't
that.
mind those.
Because that's
I don't
Japanese
either.
culture. There's very few doujins that I've ever read that have no Japanese culture in it. They're mostly Japanese.
Oh yeah.
And according to that, is just like the only tatted ones that I've seen so far is like Yakuza or tramp stamps. So
Mhm.
I'll concede to a C
How
from an
about
E.
this?
but-
We put it to a high-ranking C. Because
No,
it
no,
is
no,
something
no.
that
You
is
can't say
simply-
that now because I was about to come down to a B.
We were about to come down to a B.
I'll come down to a B.
Okay.
we have come to an impasse.
Well,
Technically speaking, if
we've
we
already
tally
done a
up
couple
the-
majority votes so far.
We've, technically speaking, if I was still asserting E, then it would bring it down to a C regardless.
We'll put it at a C, simply because whether it being aesthetically pleasing or not, most of the time with the subject matter of the doujins, it is normally viewed in a bad light.
If you're gonna find the good stuff, you're gonna have to dig.
Keep in mind,
Fine,
also,
we'll go C.
keep in mind, it's also your own opinions as well. Like, it still belongs in E tier for me.
It still belongs
It
in like
may
A or
belong
S.
in S tier for you, but it's just overall grade for all of us.
Moving on, corruption.
Oh boy, F
F,
tier, baby! Let's
F,
fucking go!
F.
I was going to humor an E as like it's essentially just teaching someone to let loose a little, but like when you specify it's corruption, I'm like no, you're going too far.
It's going.
All right.
It
I'm
usually
willing to-
involves
I'm-
drugs too.
I'm willing to bet this one is going to be an F2. Diaper.
No,
F.
F.
F. Definitely F. Disgusting.
Whoever put diaper on there, your fucking mom's a hoe.
I don't even remember who put diaper on
That
there.
would have been
Don't say his fucking name!
right.
All right, what's next?
I forgot we were doing a
Hold on,
podcast.
I gotta type it in.
That's the best types, man. You don't even know you're doing a podcast.
I spelled it wrong.
The worst part is when I'm fucking high or something, and we stop the podcast, and I forget that we stopped the podcast.
Oh,
Those are the
What
weirdest
about
ones.
petrification?
What's that?
petrification. Wow.
When your turn, not even.
Is it a little like your turn to stone?
It does. That is like what petrification
Are we
is.
talking
But I'm
time
also
stop,
gonna.
or
I'm
just-
also
Not quite time
no time stop is different. But petrification is when we will classify it broadly as when a person, usually through the specific influence of someone else, has complete inactivity. Like they cannot move. You know.
It's not like time stop.
It's
They
not
literally
time stop.
turn into like a rock. That type,
Like,
right?
That
No,
is the main thing, but I'm also saying like as if you're hit with like a petrifying gaze where you're like where your body's moving.
You're
like,
paralyzed.
I cannot move.
I would put it in an E, not quite an F, but goddamn near F.
I would consent to an E as well because of it's still rape. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. You're not consenting to
That
be
is
petrified.
true. There, if someone's consenting to it, you don't need to petrify them.
Exactly, right? You'd probably have a better time. So I think it's
I
an
was
E,
gonna say.
but it's not like grotesque as like expanding boobs or whatever. World
Yeah,
Cups.
I can give that an E easily.
What do you
Easily.
I've seen very little of these Doujins, mind you, of the petrification
same.
variety, because they're
Like,
so rare.
Honestly, I've just seen more images like out of morbid curiosity, like what is this? And I say I regret looking at this.
And usually when it involves that tag, there's actually nothing sexual about it because they're a rock. Would you like to stick your dick in a rock?
Oh yeah, it's usually like
That's where
they're
the
fetishizing
petrification
the idea
thing-
of-
It's getting like it's like comboing with the time stop thing you said. That's
Yeah.
what I was literally your first question. You mean time stop? Is that on the list?
They're damn near the same thing.
Yeah, they're damn near the same thing.
Yeah,
Except
it's just kind of a
Time Stop
scale
is-
thing.
They're both rape.
Yeah.
They're both rape.
Yeah.
But Time Stop, at least they're flesh, not rock or wood or whatever.
The
they
next-
turn into.
That, I'm not saying like are they stone?
No.
Not
They don't have to
necessarily.
be now.
No.
But that's just an example.
That is a good example. Like,
'Cause
say,
that's really my first question. Like, is it like the literal meaning of petrification, or are they just frozen?
they're just kind of
They're
frozen.
just frozen.
It's an E regardless.
In the broadest term, they're kind of frozen. But like moving on, what is omarashi? Kyle, you put this one on. What is it?
Omarashi. It's piss.
No, F.
Yeah, that's an
F.
Omarashi
You know what I'm gonna
is literally
say?
just pissing yourself.
What are you gonna say, Tyler?
B.
Oh.
Hold on a minute.
For the balls that it started.
Okay. All right, no, everybody, simmer
I'm
down.
joking.
All right, Tyler. No, you gotta defend yourself.
I'm joking.
All right, what is it for real then?
An F.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
I fucking despise that shit.
we all consent to
Same.
an F then.
I still
It's
remember one
revolting.
time Eric had sent an image or whatever because it was like an image is like, oh hell yeah, and it was a person floating in a pool, and it was only afterwards he's like, fuck, I just noticed the piss.
Can I just say, every single time there's been piss in Doujins, it makes me infuriated that they're all dehydrated.
Yeah, it's very
Dehydrated.
yellow.
that too.
It's
That's
always
weird.
very
It's
yellow.
disgusting if it's
It's
yellow.
because they gotta like represent it as piss.
Buddy,
You know,
I've been
they-
going pissing
they
for the
could've-
past like four
That's
times.
the thing that. All right, listen. That's the thing that pisses me off the most. They could have easily made it clear and then passed it off as squirt, but no, they were like, "This is piss."
I
Every
remember.
time, this is piss.
I
Because
remember
people
once
got that
seeing.
kink, I don't know.
I remember once seeing a comic or whatever, and all that, and someone made an entire alt version of the comic where they edited every single page to turn all of the times people were coming into piss, and I
God,
just
why?
sat there. I'm like, why?
Yeah,
Okay, so
that's what makes it revolting for me. Is like
It's an instant F.
yellow piss. I know what yellow's piss smells like. That's what happens after like you work out or like you just haven't drank in like a day, and it smells revolting. But
I
if it's
feel
like clear as water piss,
You
then
can't defend it as an E.
I feel like we can just move on to the next two. We can just speed run the next two. All right, what do you think of Parasite?
What's that?
it's F.
When you've got a parasitic life form,
They're usually revolting.
yeah.
They usually involve maggots too, which is
Ugh.
terrifying.
I don't want to think about
F.
that.
Eric?
I have a feeling
Do
I
I
know what
even
the
need
next
to
one is.
say?
No. We have standards, and that's below our standards by a
I
far
mean, you
margin.
say we have standards. We have this list. We made this list.
All right, what's next?
Insect.
F.
Insect F.
I don't like pussies.
Listen.
Oh, he's got a case.
F.
Okay.
Bamboozled.
I fucking hate it.
Because I assume we're all thinking of the same one when it comes to insect. It's not like a monster
There's-
girl. It's like
No,
just a
'cause that
fly.
was-
It's literally a
specifically
fucking
the monster.
spider.
Yeah,
Yes,
we're
that's-
fucking-
Like
exactly.
it's a fly
If it-
that comes and it's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick my fly dick in you.
If it's like that one monster Musume, the spider chick, like then it's
That's
just
an S.
then it's a monster girl
That's an
tag.
S.
Then it goes into the monster girl
Yeah,
tag.
'cause-
But if it's
yeah.
like literally like
A fly.
a fucking fly or some worm or something, that's like no,
Okay.
no.
Prolapse.
No, F.
I don't like prolapse.
Fat fucking F.
Prolapse makes me sick.
I am concerned by the fact that you two haven't said anything.
Like
I'm just trying to think of the times like have I ever actually even seen that?
yeah, that's for me too. It's
I
just
have,
like have I
unfortunately.
seen many of those?
I've seen one,
Okay.
but it was a hentai.
How about we concede to an F? Kyle, you pull up a picture and show them.
No, I know what
No,
it is.
I know, I've seen it. It's just
It's an F. It's an F. It's an F.
yeah, it's an F.
Okay. Hold on, I gotta type in prolapse on my.
Do we have one the S tier yet?
Nope. Also, I just want to make it known, we didn't, Eric was the only one who knew we were doing a tier list. He basically just said, hey, I need a bunch of tags. He said, it can be good, it can be bad, it can be downright awful, I just want all the fucking tags you can get. And so we just went and found tags. So that's why, you might ask, why are we putting some of these on here when it's so obvious, this is just an instant F, but that's why, because we just went and got tags.
Exactly.
All right. What's the
What's
next
the next one?
Public use, which borderlines on
With the stuck wall.
Yeah, the stuck-in wall.
It doesn't have to be stuck in wall, though.
E.
F.
E.
F.
You guys
I
are
would
F?
say.
F.
I would say E.
F!
I would say E.
Kyle?
I absolutely... All the
I don't
homies
think
to
it's as
fucking...
grotesque. It's not as to the grotesque tier of Well, what?
It's because...
But
listen, here's my reason. Here's why I say it's an F. It's because those ones tend to be the ones that have the drawings all over them.
That is
and
true.
just the loads of cum pouring out of them. And I fucking despise that. I borderline throw up when I see that kind of shit. So F.
I would say a C.
A C,
Oh,
my
yes.
friend.
interesting.
Because...
That's the thing too, where I kind of like the drawings and stuff. On
And,
them. Not
not even that, because I don't like body writing. But,
I like
here's the
body writing.
thing. Because you guys are obviously thinking of the common one where it's they're a fucking they're the cum dump.
By the
but-
end of the day, kind of.
That's what it is.
Well, no.
Unless you
Well,
persuade me otherwise.
Yeah, here's the thing, because public use basically just means anyone has access, and I have seen plenty of Doujins and shit where it's the girl herself who wants some, where she's
The exhibitionist or something?
you could say it's exhibition, but it's specifically she's anyone who wants to fuck, come on,
Diflo
let's
or
fuck.
whatever the fuck.
Oh, the ones that want an orgy or something.
Yeah.
Deliberate.
not even
consensual. Okay,
the ones who go to the beach and they're at the beach changing rooms and as people walk by they're you want to fuck? I'm kind of horny, and then they fuck and then the guy leaves and then she walks out and finds the next guy. It's hey, you want to fuck? I'm still horny.
There's a very famous artist that makes a lot of those ones named Miziru K. I'm pretty sure
I
that's the name.
might know that one.
I
Even
think
with
that's
going
familiar.
off that, say the
But
one.
that actually brings it up to a D tier for me. Thank you for reminding that, because I was going.
And that's
strictly
the
off of
important
nasty
thing, because
one.
I know, there's an artist I know that made a character
But here's where we go back
entirely
to
around that
the
fetish.
tattoo one, where the majority is the girl
That is a good point, and
that is
that's
the writing
why.
and the cum dump, basically.
That is
I wouldn't
why
go that
I don't.
far, 'cause
That's
there
why I
are
don't put it higher. I would have put it in B, but then I'm no, I gotta keep it a C.
Yeah.
That's why I go for a D, because it's not to the point where it's quite rare like the tattoo one.
I'm willing to put it in a D as well, simply because for my own personal reasons, I like the body writing. I don't really like the cum dump kind of thing. So I'm gonna put it in a D.
Here's the
because-
only way I'll move to a D if you take this into the classification of the tag. Say the ones you'll see where she's 500 yen for a hand job, 1,000 yen for
Where
a
she's
blowy.
straight prostituting and
Yeah.
shit.
Do you classify that with this tag?
I wouldn't. I would
'Cause
say
it's technically
no,
public
because
use.
that falls under prostitution.
Yeah, that's actually
That's
prostitution.
different.
Would you count glory holes or pseudo glory holes in here? In this classification?
Are they
Unless
paying
it's-
for it or no?
Are they what?
Are they paying for it?
I would say
are
no.
people-
I'm
Glory
I'm
holes
talking
tend to
like-
be just a random hole
Yeah.
in the wall. You just put your dick in and you see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
I would
definitely
say
public.
yes. That's public use then. If you have to pay for it, no.
If you have to pay for it, that's just prostitution.
Exactly.
That's a separate-
I'm
Yeah,
willing.
paying
I'm willing
for
to concede to a D.
Okay. We got a D.
Under the basis where it's not just the cum dump writing everywhere kind of deal.
Obviously we've got majority rules with the D on this, and I guess I am loosely willing to go to a D on the simple realization that, it's so much of it is just this grotesque shit.
I'm just not expecting what
yeah.
the situation you gave. I'll be honest, I see hentai like that all
It's
the
the
time,
pleasant surprise.
but I don't see it in Doujins.
Yeah. I don't know. It's and to be fair, that's more in a. I see that more as like an American artist kind of thing, where they make specific images of like this person like the fucking public or some shit.
Is there a certain tag I'm looking for?
But yeah, so I guess we'll go with a D on that one.
Surprised you don't have that on there.
But in my heart of
The
hearts,
tag
it's
of
like
Western.
C.
Okay, so I feel like this one will be a fairly easy one. Time stop.
F.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan
At
of
the
time stop.
highest, it'll be an E. There has been
Yeah.
a singular Doujin that I can remember that has
Well,
consent in
and
time stop.
I'll say it like this as well. Like, you know, say what you want about like the consent or whatever in time stop. When you have time stop, only one person's moving, and that's kind of lame.
Yeah.
Like,
It makes also, I've seen artists becoming lazy. Literally
oh yeah,
copy pasting. It's literally like, yeah, no, I think it's an F because of shitty art.
I once
non-consensual, and
read a time stop one though that was really fucking funny about a person who had a time stop power and she used it to just fuck people around her college campus.
That's
and
the
she
one I'm
found-
thinking of.
She found another dude and she like, because she's just fucking everyone, like, man, these guys can't satisfy me. She finds one dude and she's like, this guy is the best dick ever. And then she finds out he has the time stop
Yep.
power and he's going around fucking everyone trying to find who fucked him. Because he had like the best orgasm of his life, and eventually they both stop time, and they're like, "I found you," and they fuck. But then they get the
I
world
remember
stuck.
that one because it's I remember the artist name because I usually like to remember the artists that I like for the art. It's Gesundheit. You know, like when someone sneezes and you say like Gesundheit, yeah,
Yeah.
it's literally that,
You know what?
and that's the only one with consent in it.
I'm gonna give it an E.
And
Gonna
E-
go to an E.
E.
I think it's a solid E.
Yeah, I'd be willing to put it to that just simply
Yeah.
for that one.
Petrification still belongs in F
Oh yeah.
because at least there's still flesh when they're
At least they still fleshy. What do we got next?
Next we have rim job.
certified.
What do we think
No,
of rim
no,
job?
F.
Oh,
Big
usually
fucking
they
F.
belong on very, very ugly.
You're surprised to hear the F from me, but I hate it. I don't like the idea at all.
F.
I made joke
Wait. What's
joke
yours?
like, "Oh, I'll eat your ass."
I will put it in an E simply because it does go both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't want no girl
And
eating my
here's the
ass.
thing: I can respect that, but I can't bump it up because, as everyone knows, I'm not into butt stuff, and I'm even less into it when you put your mouth there.
I don't.
I will be willing to concede to an F. Because
I was gonna say I'd be willing to concede to an E because it can go both ways, like I said. And there's just,
Here's my thing. I don't like if I'm reading it. I don't want because I'm gonna base my tags like things I like to see off my own, obviously like kinks and shit like that. I don't want no girl fucking eating my ass while she's fucking stroking my cock or whatever, and I don't want to eat no girl's ass either. I'd figure her booty hole. But I wouldn't eat it.
finger booty.
do we come to a consensus of F or E?
I'm thinking F.
F.
Just for the simplicity of it,
F.
I'll put it in F.
Yeah,
But in my heart of hearts, I feel like it belongs in E.
I would agree. It's still something I want to seek out though.
Oh yeah.
It's just be like, it's in there. Fuck. Oh well. Next page.
I don't like how booty holes are sometimes drawn either. It's
That's
so
the
fucking
thing, too.
weird.
There's, like, from an artistic standpoint, there are some ones that I'm like, yes, this looks okay, and then there's other ones that are just disgusting.
They're all-
just stars.
I prefer. Listen.
No,
I
that's
prefer
the
the
thing.
stars.
I would prefer a star because
I hate the
places I've been
hyper
before-
detailed one.
Donuts.
Yeah,
Oh,
We don't look at
no.
donuts in this household.
I hate those.
What does a donut look like?
What
It looks like
you-
a fucking donut.
You, what does a donut look like?
It's a hyper detailed asshole.
Not even like I've seen donuts. They look like fucking prolapses because how far they fucking stick out. It's awful. It's horrible.
I remember
I haven't seen them, so
No,
Keep it
no
that way.
reminiscing.
Yeah.
Let's get off this shit.
No reminiscing. I'm in fucking Nam right now, man. I'm in the fucking
Alright.
shit. I'm knee deep in fucking hell right now.
Alright,
let's get to the next one.
Let's go to the next
If
one.
there was any doubt before, it's definitely an F now.
All right, let's go to the next one. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't fucking know. So I'll just go with you guys. I assume it belongs in the prolapse tier as well.
Yeah.
so.
Basically.
Vanilla.
S.
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 I would
S.
even argue triple S with like
Like,
multiplied by a trillion.
the worst you can say about vanilla is that it
It's
doesn't
too
have.
basic. And
Yeah.
that's, and
Not
like,
even
that's
that.
not even a bad thing.
That's not even.
That's what I
not
love
even-
about. I love soft core vanilla.
That's a good one.
That's just that's just like wholesome.
Maniculture.
Like where they don't even really show like the dick entering it, but you know they're having sex.
Yeah,
but you do see the
unseen
girl's
penetration.
breasts.
Okay, let's just move off this one.
Yeah,
there's
we
no-
we know
all
we know what
we all
it
know
is.
It's
Elder
S, it's
God
S.
tier.
It-
Elder God tier.
Okay, now, let's move to another side of the spectrum. Eyeball licking.
F.
Yeah, F.
Bitch, stay away from my
I've
eyeball.
seen-
They already don't work.
I've
I don't need
seen
your
one
tongue on them.
meme from it. I've seen one meme where it's licking the eyeballs.
We all have. We all know.
I've
I'm
seen one
pretty
where
sure
they
the
fucking
artist
lick the eyeball and
is-
fucking right out.
Yeah.
F.
I think I know the artist of that. That
If I
Drawing,
were
though.
to bring like artistic vision into it, it was drawn very well.
F.
But
F.
it's still an F for
It's
simply
fucking
Doujin.
disgusting.
All right, next.
Animal.
Huh? can I get that? Can I get the repeat on that?
Animal.
F. 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 F.
We don't take knots in this household.
F. We don't take doggy dicks in this household either.
No
so-
rides on the Red Rocket.
Listen.
No.
Listen.
Okay, no, let's hear him out. Everybody has an opinion.
E.
E. Okay.
All right, what brings it up to
Why?
an E?
I don't know. I was gonna meme about it, but I can't. When Q said doggy dicks, F.
There's piggy dicks. There's horse wangs. There's all of them. F.
the fucking corkscrews, you know.
No, I don't even argue below that because it's just you want to watch that shit. Go fucking watch furry porn.
I
Like
feel like
I'd
the
rather
next-
watch two furries fuck than watch animal porn.
I feel like the next two are definitely going to be very easy ones.
What's the next
Alright.
one?
Happy sex.
S.
Yes.
S.
S.
E.
E.
I love violence.
And yet you don't like violence.
And yet we have that one where he's just beating the fuck out, and he put it at F tier. Yeah,
I mean,
come
to
on.
be fair, he did say at first that it was S.
And then after that,
S, obviously.
uncensored.
Uncensored, S tier, S tier, S tier, S tier.
Yeah.
Wait, listen.
I'd say at
B.
S.
B.
B.
I would. That's where I find the middle ground. I would say
I would.
I wouldn't necessarily put it in.
We
S
put
tier.
uncensored. We put uncensored in D, right?
S.
We put censored
censored.
in D.
Or yeah, censored in D.
I would
Then
put-
I think
I
it's
would
fair.
Put like yes, I think it would be fair to put it in A.
I think it would be fair to put it in around B or A.
I say B because what you guys keep on fucking saying, the artistic standpoint. Because I've seen some bad fucking dicks. Drawn pussy, drawn tits. That's why I sometimes prefer the censored option.
I'll concede to an A because of your point there.
That's why I'm willing to put it in an A as well.
Then I'll let it go in an A.
Fine, I'll concede
Because
to A.
like personally, I would put it in an S. But,
I
I've
like
just-
uncensored, but there's
I've
very
personally
rarely a
seen
point where
some
I'm like, I
bad
need it uncensored.
drawings when it's uncensored.
yeah, so
It just distracts me. That's why I don't like censored, and that's why I would, in my opinion, still keep it at S. But Tyler has a point where if the art is bad, like I can't judge
it can
if
it
it's good
can,
or
like,
bad.
It can make it.
But
like,
if it's not up to the par of the actual art of the entire panel, you know, where the characters may be drawn perfectly well, their bodies and their shapes are perfect, but
Then
then
you get
they're
the disappointment
and then
of
it's
the
just
cruelly drawn
disappointment.
dick.
you know that drawing of
Yeah.
a horse that gets progressively bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
That's-
it goes
that's
to
what it's
that,
like.
that, then I can agree to an A tier for that.
At least with censored, that part of the bad horse is censored.
The dick.
Yeah.
But
So-
I still
A?
have a very
we're all just gonna agree with A.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hey, let's go.
Yeah.
So, tomboy.
S.
S, my
Yeah.
brother.
S.
Yeah, S.
My
Yeah,
brother.
S.
S.
S. Eric.
Handshakes all
Hold
around.
on, I'm typing it in. I gotta make it official. Okay, handshakes. Yes, handshakes.
S tier.
S.
S tier tomboy.
I
Full S
wouldn't
tier.
mind having a girl that's
Full
a nice
Nelson
dick,
S
bro.
tier.
You literally can't make a way to drop it down to an A. There's nothing wrong with them.
There's absolutely zero wrong.
I
with
absolutely love them in every way.
Okay. What about dark skin?
A.
Racist.
it. Hey, it's not racist if I put it in an A tier.
No. I'm gonna go B.
Dark elves, come on, boys.
Because it depends.
It does.
I've seen some bad dark skins.
Here's my confliction. Sometimes there are dark skin, or they're like ethnic hairstyles that I really don't like that are attached to darker skinned individuals.
Ethnicity, are we talking?
Who do you fucking think?
Race.
But also with Doujins, because, you know, we're talking Doujins, most of the time they don't have those because it's fucking Japanese people.
I will concede to an A because I love my chocolate queens.
But here's why I say B. Because like I said before, I've seen some bad ones. It really depends. 'Cause I've seen some whack shit.
I will also say
have
this. I do not care for Gyaru girls.
What's that?
They
I
are
like
like...
them.
I like
Gyaru girls are
Man
like...
of fucking
They're like
culture.
tanned. The tanned ladies wear like short leopard pattern
Alright.
skirts and like tank tops, and they're like, "Hey boys, want to fucking let me suck your dick?"
I don't
See-
mind those ones. I
see,
like them.
I don't much care.
The reason why it's not an S tier for me is because it's A tier for me. In case if you're wondering, is because it doesn't belong in S tier because of what Tyler mentioned.
There's some
The
bad.
bad ones.
It's
that are
like
out there.
Jersey
I don't
Shore
wanna see a dark
times
elf
10
anymore.
kind of deal, you know?
Most of the ones that I've seen so far, where it's like, well, like if it's like a fantasy setting, dark elves, I think they look fucking
Yo,
lit.
That's
And
what that would bring me to an S. But since I've seen bad ones, I'm
And
willing
then-
to go to A or B.
This
and
is
then I
gonna.
also like the Gyarus, like just the regular Gyarus, and then I also like I just like them in general. It's just the bad ones that bring it down to an A.
This
for
is
me.
also something I'm going to say. I am not a fan of big lips. That's
Okay,
all I'm going
alright,
to say
alright,
on
alright.
that matter.
Kyle. I think what you're thinking of. Remember,
The
we're
wrong
talking
dark
Doujins.
skin.
We're talking Doujins, and most of the dark skinned people in Doujins.
Tend not to have lips.
Not only that, but they're more Asian in characteristics.
This
rather
is
than
true.
Blasians.
Unless we're talking dark skin, as in like NTR, big black American dude comes over. That's a whole different tier of
Fucks
F.
the whole country.
That's the whole different tier of F. But when we're talking
But-
general women, it's
Okay,
usually like
Regardless, I will say my initial confliction was between A and B tier. I am willing to go with an A.
Okay.
We all agree A?
A.
Yes.
A.
Next.
I'm happy with that one.
I am very.
F
Gyaru
tier.
brothers. Gyaru
I was
brothers.
thinking about saying that for
Have
the
you
meme.
read
but-
this God blessed comic of
Put it in N tier.
the one where it's
Oh,
like Gyaru?
Kyle!
Yes.
Oh, dark
Yeah.
skin!
What do you think?
I like it. I like it. It brings me joy.
It brings
They
me
didn't
absolute
notice.
joy as well.
It brings me joy.
Good.
Okay.
Gyaru Gohan. That's what
That's
it's called.
it.
I just realized that.
I hope this one is as easy for everyone else here as it is for me. Monster Girl.
That's just like the
S.
sheer variety, the like different things you've got there, the fucking. I've seen some really nicely made Monster Girl stuff. Like Monster Girl goes with literally any tag.
so
Other
the
than
ones-
Mila.
But well, let's specify this. When we talk about Monster Girls, we are actually talking about half human, half actual creature. Not say like a succubus. I'm not considering that a
Not
monster.
even
girl.
like a
I wouldn't
kitsune one, right?
I wouldn't consider a succubus even.
Not
like
even a
monster.
kitsune, right?
What's
Yeah.
that?
Okay.
Kitsune are
the
fox
fox girls that have like
Ears.
the foxtail.
I wouldn't consider that a monster
Yeah.
girl.
They are borderline at most. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
they're
consider
borderline
them.
at most. I would
Like
say
Neko,
S
shit like
tier.
that, I wouldn't consider that.
That's Kimono Mimi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would still be at S tier because the ones I've seen so far, there was very little that has been bad, and I haven't seen any that's been like bad as like F tier, like grotesque and shit.
I've never seen one I've seen ones that are bad, but they're not bad because of the monster girl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The ones I've seen so far are all wholesome, so I keep it at an S if it's a wholesome. So
I will. Y'all know me.
What are you saying, Kyle?
I'm saying S.
You saying S?
I love a good monster girl.
S?
Definitely
S? I'll say S.
Because a lot of the time,
all wanted to
most
fuck
of the
us.
monster girls.
Hey, what was
ones-
that quote? What was that quote? Monster girls are not scary because the monster's on the outside.
I was exactly about to say
They're
that.
scary because of that monster pussy.
But that makes hundo p sense because all the ones I've read so far are hundo p
They're.
wholesome.
I've never like. Most of the ones that I've seen for Monster Girl have been like incredibly wholesome because like.
It tends to be like a caretaker thing.
Yeah.
There's never like a bad, like forceful kind of deal. And even then, say there is like a forceful scene.
It's the orc girl dominating the guy.
Not just that.
that constitutes as monster, right?
Yeah.
Orc, yeah.
Probably.
That would count. But like,
But
but to say like, oh, the harpy lady is getting abused, but then you see some heroic guy knock out the fucking owner, and you're coming with me. I'm gonna give you a good life. You're gonna be fucking happy.
I
We're
like
gonna
the
cry
snake
all the
one.
time.
And I'm gonna
Snake ones
fuck
are
you.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna consensually have sex.
Lamias are good.
The snake one,
Yeah.
right?
snake
Yeah.
ones are good.
Yeah.
It's just
I've
I
always
don't
been.
like scaly pussy. I'm sorry.
It's not that. I've always been puzzled
lost.
on how you even fuck.
I know.
Like how do you fuck them?
They have a hole. There's scales around it.
But think like the composition. You're going like.
We're going.
No, you hug them, and
That's
like a
what I'm
tree.
thinking. Like you're fucking hugging Amazon woman. And you're just going.
We're going in too deep.
You haven't seen enough material,
Quite literally.
Tyler. You need to fucking. You
I
need to
need to look
educate
up
next
more.
yourself.
MILF.
S.
I wouldn't say S.
I'd say A
I
at
say
the highest.
S.
Yes.
B.
What do you say?
B?
I'd say A at the highest.
B.
Okay.
Honestly,
I would
I'm
say-
more inclined to a B. I'm saying A at the highest, but my debate point is B because
Showed
every time I see MILF, because like they're obviously MILF is its own thing, but with Doujin MILFs, it's always massive,
Yeah.
horrifyingly large fucking titties, and
Showed us.
it also has a bad habit of
NTR.
not just that.
Oh,
It also
God,
has
yeah.
a bad habit
Okay,
of being
C.
like. It also has a bad habit of being like put in like with like very light infantilization shit,
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, let mommy jerk you off.
See,
Like I'm like, no, don't say that.
the
Don't say
reason
that.
why it's not like a D or a C for me is because there are very good wholesome ones out there.
Yeah,
Very,
Okay,
very
I
good
will-
wholesome
I will.
ones out
I
there.
will concede to a C because
No,
A C.
I'm
I
gonna
would-
concede to an A.
Tyler likes big mommy milky.
I do.
he does.
I would say B at the highest, C as a baseline, just because of the the tags that come frequent with it, which is Shota,
NTR.
NTR, and massive milkers that are unreasonable.
Unreasonable levels.
Like, I
But
mean, technically,
I'm still gonna go with a C because like
You know, it's a
with
C.
everything else surrounding it, yeah.
if you're
At
going
that-
for a B, I'll say B. But if not,
I'm gonna have to go with B because you know, on the contrary, I really like the domestic idea of it. I do like that it usually involves some kind of like affection and
I love like the wholesome, like, oh, you're a working man, you come home to your wife, and
That's the
There's a
thing,
lot of good ones like that. Oh
that's
my
what's
God.
making me stick to an A or an S.
All right,
because,
B tier for me.
Like it is a very gray area as well. There's a lot of good ones and there's a lot of bad ones.
A lot of bad ones.
Yeah, but I think I will stick with a B.
Well, should we all just agree on B then?
I
will come
agree on
down
B.
to a B because of like all the NTR and Shada stuff.
I was thinking of B from the start because like it's not something that I particularly like
Sought
normally
out.
searched out for.
I
but
do.
Like I've
Yeah.
never been disappointed if it's a good one.
Hmm.
I don't mind searching up the ones that have vanilla or
Working man comes home to his beautiful
yeah,
wife.
yeah, just vanilla tag next to it. Then I'm
You know,
I'm
vanilla, a person fucks a MILF, and it's nice.
I feel like this one might split the room a little bit.
okay.
Incest.
B.
C at the most. C at the most.
B is my middle ground
Chaotic neutral is what I would say.
because it can be good, but there is a lot of bad.
A.
Really?
Because, like, and keep in mind, like, putting aside the morals of it, because, like, let's be honest, it's a fucking Doujin.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we don't give a shit because it's a
I'm there
Doujin.
to bust nuts.
But I will say this: when they are siblings, the dynamic between them is usually much better. Because I think the dynamic itself can step it up, and it has that domestic feel to it, as I've mentioned before in a few. Because I do really like that domestic feel to it.
you know what?
Generally,
I'm
that's
gonna
why.
boost up to A.
Let me reason why it's a C tier for me. So it feels like to me,
But-
everyone who's made doujins that regards incest have never actually had siblings.
Oh yeah,
Because the
Of
reality,
course.
and I know, I'm getting into the reality territory of it, but it's
I
more
saw
like
it
for
at the
me-
hub.
but
You're
that's
breaking
it's
the
more like
simulation.
it's so unrealistic, even
it's
in a
an
doujin.
idealized fantasy.
It's a hyper idealized, even more so than like monster girls, because that's
And-
just not how.
And the thing is, you know,
Unless you live in Alabama.
you know, you talk to me about it, and I say like, of course it's hyper idealized. That's kind of what I'm here for.
I have a little sister, and I have more will to slap the fucking shit out of her than
You know, I don't
ever
doubt it.
will.
I can't give any experience on that. I have an older brother, so
So that's why it's a C tier for me, because
I
there
will.
there are good ones. Trust me, because there's like ones where it's like, I guess they don't count as incest, but like there are vanilla ones out there. They're just not common as much as just hey, you're pretty hot as a brother. Hey,
And
you're
like-
pretty hot as a sister.
and I'll also bear in mind, incest. You're probably thinking of like, you know, brother and sister or something like that. It can
Mother
expand
and
to any
son.
member of the family.
And
Yeah.
it could also go to Shota and MILF.
It can
in
go to like
incest,
Shota
I
and
hate
Lolly,
that.
but it can also go to like MILF and all that shit.
And that's why I would put it in a D. Normally, because like if I were to put like my morals into it, it would be an F because
Yes.
But you're
Yeah,
reading a
it's-
Doujin. You're not gonna
and
put your
and
morals
That's
in
the
it.
thing.
exactly why.
And like most of the time, it doesn't expand out to like mom and son. It's normally like
Bro and
brother
sis.
and sister. And for one, I don't have a sister, so. But
Even if I had a hot sister, I would still probably be like,
No.
fuck you. I'll slap you. I'll slap the little.
and that's the thing. That's how like most normal people will. be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
You didn't do the dishes? Come here, fucking woman.
I'll fucking Riona you.
and that's why I will bump it up to a C.
My
Simply
man.
because of that, but like,
Well, now we're at an impasse.
if
You guys are out
simply
of
like
A.
story driven or whatnot.
But
if you
you're
were to,
still
like,
thinking about just the bro and sis, the mom and
here's the thing though.
all
That's
that.
why like it doesn't matter that much to me. I'm willing to put it on just about anywhere because a lot of the time I
Yeah.
don't read the
it's-
dialogue of it. It doesn't matter who they are to each other to me.
Yeah, and it ultimately ends up being a drawing. So if you literally replace the text of other than
Yeah.
them looking alike, if you replace the text just that says brother and sister,
Just replace it with like Bill and fucking Janet.
Bill and
Live next
Bill
to
and
each other or
Hillary
some
or
shit.
something
And
like
that's
that.
why like I'll concede to just about anything.
I think we
for
should
it.
go to a B because you guys are at an A.
Just kind of
and
middle
we're at
ground
a C.
between our choices.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bring it down to a B because it tends to be like some of them tend to be like really gross.
Yeah.
There's one where it's
they-
like Dad and Lolly, and I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then
There is definitely.
oh my
bad.
God, let me tell you, the worst one. It's not on there. Toddler tag.
Ugh.
Don't even. Man.
That goes below F.
Don't
That-
want it.
That's just.
Whew, that one's
Ugh.
that one's
Okay, what's the next one?
Glasses. I feel like
S.
this one's
S.
really.
Ooh.
As a glass wearer myself, I would put it at an F. I don't like I don't like glasses.
inferior human.
I
And
have
you guys like
glasses
the
of
inferior?
myself.
Aren't you guys the ones that are inferior fetishizing?
But
I
no,
think it's an F.
Glasses. They's my fetish.
Yeah, I'd love to come with some glasses.
And they're like fucking.
We're
You're like
way
going.
too polarized on
You're
this
going
one.
to town on some chick with glasses, and like they start slipping off her face, and she's like, "Oh."
I'll put them at an A simply because like it's one of those things that doesn't really matter too much to me, to be honest.
Yeah. For me, it's just
Like it's nice to see them there. It's just it's not gonna like detract or add too much.
And that's
for
the
me
thing,
a lot
right?
of the time.
I'm fine when they're not glasses, but I see glasses, and I'm like, you put the cherry on the fucking cake.
like for
Should
me.
we move down to A?
I will concede to an A, but no, it shall be spoken like
It's
like
S.
fucking God
We
unto
know.
Joseph. You
Don't
know,
worry,
like I
it's an
said,
S.
For me, I don't care from A to F, but it's not an S for me. That's just all. It's like for me with like one of my fetishes is good hairstyles. Like I like hairstyles and
Probably
diverse
fucking
hairstyles.
use the hair to beat your meat, huh?
No,
We don't have hair jobs.
it's just aesthetics
That would be
of
F.
hair differences or like different hairstyles and everything. It's like it's nice to be there. It's nice
Yeah.
that it's there, but it doesn't have to. It's not a deciding factor.
Okay,
What?
Next.
Looking at the list.
bondage.
I give it a solid.
C.
I give it a solid.
I'm going to put it at a B.
I'm gonna put it at an E.
I'm
I say
caught between a B and a C because
C. It depends on the bondage itself.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fine with
It's
a
all
little.
very
Context, too.
situational.
I'm fine with some good bondage, but like I also don't want to see someone get their balls stepped on.
I just don't
I
like.
feel like
That's BDSM.
that crosses.
You're right.
That crosses.
Right.
in-
Bondage-
Then I'm gonna put it at a solid B.
Okay, that crosses into like CBT.
I'm gonna say the max for bondage we'll get
the cock and
to
ball torture
is
a-
full tied up, and they got like the rope around their whole body.
Bondage to set it straight. The way I'm thinking of bondage, it's just being tied up, whether it's fully tied up or just arms tied up. If you go into like further than that, like sadomasochism or something, that's BDSM.
Yeah.
But if it's like
So-
like a simple like your arms are tied behind your back kind of deal,
My arms are tied.
I will say A.
If
Or
it's
I'll go
simple
up to
things
a
like
B.
that, because I'm immediately thinking
I feel-
BDSM.
I
That's
feel
why.
like it should.
I
Just,
would
They are
just-
often
I would
pretty
s-
intrinsically connected.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
why
like
I'm
it should
thinking
just be a B.
I think a B is fine.
I think it'd be a C, but I'm willing to rate. It's one of those things where it's like,
But you gotta draw
again,
a
it's
line
not an
with the
S for me,
bondage.
but it's not an F for me, so I don't care where it belongs really, and it depends on the context as
Very
well as like,
situational awareness.
Let's go for B for bondage.
Alliteration is good.
all right, what's next?
After B for bondage, it is tan lines. How do we think about tan lines?
S.
S, my
S.
friend.
My
My
comrade.
good boy.
Comrade.
Yes!
Brothers in
I want
arms.
to hear your opinion, Kyle, first.
I like tan lines because it's like, they say the most fun part is taking off the clothes, And, like, obviously I like that element of, like, a character not just instantly being naked for the entirety of the fucking doujin.
Yeah.
And I like how that's kind of like an exemplification of that.
They also, a lot of the time, you see them with tomboys as well.
You do see them with tomboys a lot. But
But you also
I-
see them a lot with the one thing they like, with the tanned woman
Hero.
hero.
Gyaro girls. And the thing is, right, I feel I will only put it in an A because it's pretty much always like relegated to like bikini tan lines and stuff. and just for some reason or another doesn't really do anything for me.
I'm willing to concede to an A.
Like,
You want a line?
Yes.
B.
B?
B or a C. Because it depends on the tan line. Because you have those ones that are like the extremely dark, then fucking farmer tans, basically. I don't like those. But if it's like, say, like a soft tan, then you can tell there's the difference, but it's not heavily implied.
My man.
I like that. So that's why I'm a B to a C.
B to a C. Should we just come to a conclusion of A?
Yeah, because I said A.
I'm still willing to go to an A. I can see where Tyler's coming from,
Yeah.
but most of the time it isn't like that heavy differentiation. It's mostly
It's subtle.
It's most of the time.
Yeah,
subtle.
when I see it,
If
it's
it's
not
subtle,
that bad.
then I will stick to a B to an A.
If it's at a deliberate setting where they're like countryside people that are like, I don't know, like for example, like
If
to
you're
a pool
going
or
for
something,
like country hick kind of thing, like that's to me that's where it elevates itself. But generally speaking, I keep it at an A.
yeah, because there's like American countryside shit or North American countryside shit. There's also Japanese countryside shit,
you
like
know,
farmers.
The shit that I dig is when it's like you got overalls, freckles, and a tan line. You know, that's
fucking
the
man.
good stuff.
My
But
fucking
most
man.
of the time, what you're gonna see is like bikini tan lines.
The reason why
And that
mine
doesn't
was
do
so low is because I don't like the ones that have like the Jersey Shore tan.
That's different.
That's different. I think that's just greasy.
I'm not familiar with it.
They're fucking orange.
Oh, you mean like spray tan shit?
Yeah, like we're talking
Yeah.
Donald
Oh,
Trump
no.
shit. That's
That's-
completely different. That's not
that's not
tan.
good.
That's just
That's
spray
not.
painting your
That
body.
is being tan. It's not a tan line.
Let's
But
move,
it's that color
What's what?
to the normal skin.
Oh yeah.
That's why I don't
Let's
like
move
it.
on from this. We already have a verdict.
We verdicted on A.
How do we feel about a Higo?
I'm gonna be. There are some good ones out there.
I'm very
but-
biased.
A lot of the time, I'm not into it because I feel they're trying too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like that's kind of how I'm feeling too. I'd say like maybe a B because like for one, I'm just kind of over it.
I'm
I'm just
tempted to say
over it.
D.
Because like it's just been done so many times,
And
like,
here,
it's
here's
unrealistic,
a
too.
distinction I have. All right, I like a good face. I like a good expression, but so many times, and I
It crosses into mind break, right?
that too.
Yeah.
But it's like it's specifically when they sit there, like their eyes roll back and their tongue comes out. That's the point where I'm
That's
like,
the mind break shit.
That's the point where I'm like, you've gone too far.
Mhm.
Like that, you've lost me.
I would put it at an A tier because that's a Hegao and just anime facial expressions are so
Important.
no, they're over exaggerated for a reason. Right?
Yeah, it's like
that's
watch
their
report.
design. Anime expressions used to be just plain and boring, like back in the '90s with like Cowboy Bebop or any of the Studio Ghibli ones. But like it's modernized to the extent where it's like it's deliberately trying to show you what they're actually feeling the most. So while I
True.
wouldn't while it's good nut material, I wouldn't say like it. I haven't seen any. No, that's a lie. I have seen a couple vanilla ones and wholesome ones that still have it, but it's at a moderation. But it's more so for me that it's translating their current emotion more so than they're going overboard. There are some ones that are like that, but that's why I keep it at an A tier because it's more for expressions.
And I do like the expression. I do like the expression of it. It's just a lot. If you're going to specifically tag it for Ahegao, you usually see it, and it's like you're going hard into those. Like,
Yeah, you're going.
you
into
don't
the
tag
mind
it
break
as- you don't
and
tag
the
it unless
drug
you're
and
really
the
going
other
into
stuff, right?
Yeah.
I still say D. Because I just, it's personally, cause this is like a personal thing where I just see too many Instagram bitches and like TikTok bitches
No, we're talking strictly Doujin, so keep that shit out.
But that's
Oh yeah,
what's
if
influencing me.
we were including like real people, every time I see a real person attempt to do those, it's a turnoff.
I
hate it.
By Allah, if I see another Belle Delphine Ahegao face,
I
I will commit an intergalactic
I
jihad.
once saw one of her videos or whatever, like, leaked somewhere, and, like, partway through she did that, and I turned it off instantly and said, this is stupid.
Yeah, no,
Hate
it doesn't belong in IRL.
Okay, fine. Without that personal disdain for it, I will give it a B.
Yeah, I was going with Eric on the B.
because like that's where I'm at too. It's
I
just
will-
like it's fine, it's okay. It's just I'm kind of over it.
Yeah.
I'll
like
concede
it's-
to a B.
It's okay. Like I can see the artistic vision of it, like trying to animate something like more to bring it more to life. It's just like if it's overdone, or like I'm just kind of tired of seeing it in a
Yeah.
way. But
Yeah, I
I'm
can
not
see that.
disappointed anytime I do see it too.
Mm-hmm.
It's decent. It's good. It's good nut material is what I call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just over exaggerated facial expression, but it gets the message across. That's why I think it's
Yeah.
acceptable still. It's just people overdo it now, which is the annoying one.
What's
It's
next?
just overdoing this.
Mind break.
Not really into it.
I'd say E.
E.
It's not terrible, but it's not good.
I'm fine.
There
I'm
are
fine
good
with.
mind breaks. There are.
I
good
would say
mind
And
I'd
that's
go-
the thing.
I'd go
That's-
from a
that's-
D or a C.
I'm fine with like. I'm fine with it in the sense of it being like, oh, you're just like so fucking into it that you just have a moment. But like, to like on when I think of mind break, the first thing that comes to mind is like you just
A mind breaking.
you just yeah you fucked someone so bad that you fucked them up. And I'm like not down for that, but
I
it's
mean-
like a person who's just like, whoa.
I think
That's fine.
mind break with drugs most of the time because that's usually what comes with it, and that's terrible. But I have seen instances of vanilla Doujins with mind break in it, which is very rare.
That's why I'm saying D to a C.
That's why I'm saying E because it's not because again it's like the case where it's the 1%, and then the
Okay.
99 is the
And
terrible.
here's what I'll say. I keep it to an E because while there can be some good ones, and you could say like majority and all that, like the idea of like drugs or rape mind breaks, they plummet it.
Yeah.
Like
So just I'll agree on E then.
I'd say so.
yeah.
I would argue to D if necessary, but yes, I would say E. Yeah.
Okay. That brings us to the next one. Amputee.
Oh my god.
All right.
Okay. There's,
All right, you know, I'll say right now. I'll say
I'm gonna stick to my guns.
On,
I'll stick-
I'm going to say
just say.
I'm going to say a strong E to a low B.
I'm
Or no,
going.
low B.
I'm gonna say.
A strong C to a low B.
I'm gonna say it's S tier. I love it when they don't have legs. No.
I'm
They
gonna
can't
say-
run.
Okay,
no,
okay.
I'm
Real
gonna-
talk.
I'm gonna drop it. You know, drop it right now. I do not have anything against amputees. I don't seek out amputee. I'm gonna put it at a E simply because I prefer. While I don't like hate amputees. I'm never searching it out, and anything I like about it usually has nothing to do with the being an amputee itself, unless it's a story beat. But I'm not jerking off to story beats.
All right. I think I'm putting it at an A, just because of one singular doujin
Fuck
I've ever read.
nuggets.
It's by Shindle,
Oh no!
but it's oh my god, it is the most. Okay, it's about a girl. It's like an office setting, right? There's an office guy and then there's an office girl, and the girl is the amputee. But the story behind her being amputated, and she has like these prosthetic limbs and everything, was they got into a crash after drunk driving when they were like in college, and it's a wholesome vanilla story.
And here's
And
the thing.
holy fuck, it's one of my favorites.
I will say this. You know, one of the reasons I wasn't exactly thinking of before, like the idea of someone who is disabled and you make like a cute thing about that. I'm fine with that.
Have you ever played Katawa Shoujo? Come on, bros.
I haven't
why,
yet.
That's
I really
why it's a
should.
fucking A, boys. Come on. I'm just kidding.
That's why I'm bumping it up to a B, because
Bumping
like,
it up to a B.
a lot of the time when I think of amputee, normally it's like like
In this
almost
wholesome
damn
sense.
near rape tier like fuck nuggets. And,
Yeah.
like it's upsetting to look at because like a lot of sometimes they aren't willing to do it, but like with those wholesome ones, I bump it up to a B.
I think we can agree
And,
on
you know-
on a complete chaotic neutral of C, because how
I
polarizing it is.
was just about to say, like, if you add in the whole... Because I wasn't thinking of the wholesome thing. I was thinking of, like, people who have, like, stub legs at the thighs, and they're like...
the ones that
I
get
can't
cut
move.
off by some bad guys or something. And then,
It doesn't even matter how they're cut off. It's just, like, they have stubbed thigh legs or something like that. And that kind of, like, makes me sad.
I do
But
my best to not even think about like the bad like gore ones.
When you factor in, like, the really nice, wholesome ones and the cute ones, your katawa shoujos, your armless girls who do things with their feet really well because that's just what they're used to. Like,
that's where the feet fetish comes from, boys.
I'm specifically drawing from katawa shoujo here,
No,
but
it's,
like with that,
It's
I
hard
can-
not to because Katawa Shoujo really is pulling that whole genre.
it really is. With that,
the pioneer.
I'm at least willing to bump it up to a C.
Yeah.
I think C is a good middle
I
ground.
could be moved to a B, but that depends on what everyone's feeling.
I think it's a good thing to put it at C as a chaotic neutral because it can go both ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because,
What do you think,
like,
Tyler?
What do you think?
I think it's a C personally, but like if I were to go out into the public and show my opinions to the world, they'd be like, ugh.
I feel that's this entire
Yeah.
podcast.
Like
Yeah.
for me, like if I were to ever date like an amputee girl, I wouldn't mind. I'd be like,
Oh, I wouldn't mind either.
I'm stuck between like a C or a B.
I mean, for me, it's a fucking A or an S just because of those wholesome ones, just because of the 0.1%. But A, like C is fine because again, it goes both ways, and 99.9% are the bad ones. Let's be honest here, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones that have
So
the
C.
mind break and fucking bullshit tags in it.
Okay, I feel like these last ones we can kind of breeze through pretty easily. Drugs?
No.
F.
Yeah, F. Don't like F. F makes me sad because I think about emergence
Don't do coke, kids, or heroin.
or heroin. Eggs. Like
No.
egg laying.
No.
F.
Yeah, F. I've never seen the appeal to it.
Like, I guess it's from people evolutionizing the anal bees moving on to eggs or something.
Same thing, you know.
All right, lactation.
No. I say
I
that
don't
is
like.
an F.
I don't like lactation.
It depends. It depends on the context. If it's like a overly grotesque one, like the ones that are related to the World Cup one, whatever that was called, the boob growing one.
breast
like-
expansion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
breast expansion.
If it's like that, obviously an F. But I have seen like
C.
I have
I
seen like
will.
yeah,
I will actually put
I would say C.
lactation in F. I don't like lactation.
Yeah,
I
I'm
will,
like
I
straight
will
up an
avoid
F. Like
something.
even if it's tasteful or something like that, I'm still really just not into
Well,
it.
it's for me it's a C because there are like like breastfeeding ones. There are like
Well, and the thing is,
and
right?
then it's
You're not jerking off to someone. Well,
No.
actually, you might.
if it's a nut material, then I would definitely say if it's strictly nut material, then it'd be F. But I would say it's a chaotic neutral of C.
For
'cause it
me,
can
it's
go
still
both
C.
ways.
We got 2 Fs and 2 Cs.
Bump it down to a D or an E.
I'm willing to go up to an E because
sticking
it's
with
not
C.
terrible. It's just I will not enjoy it.
Do we rock, paper, scissors?
Yeah.
I would say we should put it at a D.
Let's put it at a rock paper scissors. D or an E.
No.
Somebody fight
It's
me.
a C or an F.
That's
I will not.
Because we're at
Look,
C,
I
you
don't
guys are
care.
at F.
I don't care where it's at because it's one of the. For me, it's one of the things that's in the chaotic neutral where it's like it can go either way. So, you guys can decide upon yourselves. I would say E or a D.
the way that I think about it is like lactation is only possible if they're pregnant. For
That's
one.
not true.
Yes. Yes.
That is how that works.
That is how that works.
Did
You don't
that-
produce milk if
Did
you
that
don't have a
alter
fucking
your
baby.
mind?
What?
Are you gonna change your mind now?
You can't be lactating unless you have a fucking baby in you.
Or had a baby recently.
Still C.
It sounds like you're wavering there,
All right,
buddy.
let's. I would say let's put it at a E. But because these
Well,
guys,
I'll go as D.
Fine.
we'll go to a D. Again, I don't care about this one as much because it's one of those ones where it's like I wouldn't care. I don't look it up, but I don't care if it's in there because it's a natural
All right.
thing.
The very last one. Stomach deformation.
What's that?
When the dick so big that it like bulges out of their
Oh, we
stomach.
were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, we were talking about that
Well,
earlier.
yeah.
Depends.
I don't like it.
What did we even say about it earlier?
It's a flat F for me.
We said it was
because
fucking gross.
Yeah.
Unless it was like the little subtle
It's a flat F for me because
E.
E.
I don't like it. I just despise it because
I-
if it's that big to deform their stomach, it is a hindrance. Stop hitting your fucking head against your leg. It's gonna fuck up the microphone.
I am willing to go with it as an E simply because I've seen it used subtly with stylization.
Yeah. Sometimes they can pull it off.
Cause like when it's just like dick so big that it's popping out of your fucking chest, that's dookie.
We're
Hate
also
that.
talking like,
But-
with this one with the E thing. We're also talking about like the 1% kind of deal because a majority is bulging out of the stomach.
It's excessive.
But I still say E.
I put it in a flat F simply because most of the time it is that, and like even when it isn't, it's still unsettling because like
I thought we always put the 99% to 1% at E. Because there are ones that can subtly pull it off with the right art.
that's true.
But even that, we have majority here.
I'm
Fuck
sticking
you.
to my guns. Fuck stomach deformation.
Is that
So
the
we'll
last
put it at
one?
an E.
Going to an E, but I'm not happy about it.
Hey, I had to give up my glasses.
What the
You
hell
have to
happened to
give up
NTR? I
those
thought that was the last one.
NTR isn't on there because we know it's F.
It's
not
an
even
NTR
F.
tier.
It's below F.
I would argue E.
E?
Yes.
It depends.
Because there are actually very good NTR dojins where it's reversed, so to speak. Where the initial relationship is shit, and they're cheating because the initial relationship is shit, and the girl or the guy is
True,
moving
but
on
I'm
to a
not
better
smacking it to that.
one. That's why I'm only sticking with E. And then there was, oh my god, there was a recent one where I just read, where it blew my mind because it looks like NTR, but it actually isn't.
How
The
is
thing
that?
about NTR too is, a lot of the time I'm not reading it for the words. So like
Yeah,
I
that
can
is
put
true.
NTR in just about anywhere because like it doesn't matter to me like what these people's relationships
All you
are.
really need is a scene of two people fucking and a single line that says "Don't
Oh,
tell
yeah.
my husband" or something.
If
Not
put
even.
it-
It's just you see like
I'll
the
put
initial
it this
starting,
way.
and then it's the husband. He leaves, and then someone else walks in. You know it's NTR.
If
Yeah.
I'm actually reading it, NTR would go into an E or an F. But if I'm just looking at it, it can go all across the board depending on the other tags.
I would say E.
But we're also.
Believe it or not, because NTR is like usually the lowest of the low tiers.
But everyone's beat their dick to NTR.
Oh, simply, yeah.
Who hasn't?
Yeah. So it deserves. It is E tier.
And with that, we have come to the end of the list.
And the end of this fucking podcast, that's for sure.
How long have we been going on?
Oh, we've been at it for 2 hours and a half.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yes, I am. It's only
10:37.
been 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Thank
My
you
mistake.
for tuning in to
Oh
the,
my fucking
We haven't
god!
even covered all the tags, boys.
thank you for
There's
tuning
still
in to
more.
the tag list, everyone.
Next time it'll be traps.
Next time, where are we gonna put Shota?
Next time we'll be
forget
going
about
over
your
the
succubus.
entire.
Have you ever wondered what the MD cast thinks of yanderes? Find out next time!
Oh, S tier, S tier.
I fucking
S tier.
hate.